Friends and colleagues, my name is Piet Pretorius. I'm the Deputy Speaker of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. May I take this opportunity also to welcome some of our national ministers here who I see here. I see Minister Nel, and there could be more as well. Our members of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, members of the NCOP, Minister Meyer hasn't been welcome. Mr. Meyer, welcome here. And also the Chief Whip of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, Mr. Wiley, is also here. Most welcome here. Today we are hosted in the Eden District, and our next item on the agenda is a speech by the Executive Mayor of the Eden District, and it's my honor to ask Honourable Bessie van der Westhuizen to come forward to address us.
Deputy Speaker of the Western Cape Province, thank you so much for an opportunity this morning. I was sitting there on stage and I actually realized a lot of people here still think it's Sunday. It is Monday in the little Karoo, and you can start to relax and you don't have to put up our on the face. Relax and enjoy the specific days with us. Let me start by saying we are grateful to have you with us. Deputy Chairperson Honourable Tau, Deputy Minister Nel is here also from the National Government, the Speaker of the Western Cape Province, Ma'am Fernandez, thank you so much for being here. Minister Ivan Meyer, Finance Minister of the Western Cape Province, thank you so much. All members of the NCOP, my colleague and friend, Mayor of George Municipality, Councillor Charles Thunders, heartily welcome. I think at this point I just need to say all protocol observed because we are really a lot in the house. Honourable Town, it is really for me an honor to welcome everybody here today in this occasion. This indeed is a historical week for us, not only because of the fact that we have an opportunity to voice our concerns, but also I believe because of the fact that it gives the NCOP an opportunity in a true sense to bring Parliament closer to the people. The Eden District Municipality became a well-known tourist destination, not internationally, but also nationally, and it really became a destination of choice for a lot of people. Not only because of our natural beauty and the world-renowned Kango Caves, but surely because of our human capacity. The warmth of the people of the Eden District, and you will experience that warmness during this week. But remember, it is a warmness wrapped in honesty. Chair, we are a region of contrasts. We have the coastal side, which include George, Mossel Bay, Knysna, and Plettenberg Bay, known for the beautiful green valleys and sky blue seas. On the other side, we have the semi-desert Karoo with its extreme temperatures, winter or summer, and some of you will experience our 36 today. But just as our natural contrasts, there is a clear distinction between the citizens who are part of this region. A clear contrast when it comes to the quality of life. There's a contrast between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. There's a contrast between the mansions in Belvedere, in Plettenberg Bay, Knysna, and in Mossel Bay, versus the shelters of Joe Slovo and the old clay houses in Zoar. While some complain that the water they want to play in is not too clear. The people of Ladysmith is praying for an acceptable E. coli counting to keep them from sickness. While farmers is praying for rain, the people of Rimfasmark is begging God to keep the rain away because of the bad conditions they are living in. Now we in Eden, we can boast because we don't do too bad at all. Flush toilet connections, 78.3%. Pipe water dwellings, 71.8%. Refuse removal, 86.4%. Electricity for lighting, 91.1%. What a very good report, nearly an A+. But Chair, in the Eden districts that really meant nothing if our people still lives on handouts. If the unemployment rate is 22.5% and youth unemployment a demonical 29.9%. Thus we understand why our battlegrounds and fight chains to gangsterism, drug and alcohol abuse, rape, and the sudden increases in suicides amongst our youngsters. Clearly, we moved away from the idea of better the lives of people to the business of saving the lives of people. Chair, it is nothing. Now, it is within this contrast that we want to welcome you in Eden District today. We confess we desperately need you as a partner. More so, we need the NCOP in government. We need you as a mentor. We promise we will not stand aside and wait for handouts. We are much too a proud people. We want to work together with you to better the lives of our people. No, to save the lives of our people. But please, Chair, don't walk in front of us. We may not follow. Don't walk behind us. We may not lead. Walk beside us. Only then we can do it better together. A heartily welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable van der Westhuizen. I omitted to also welcome the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, the Honourable Pam Sweti. Welcome here. You're most welcome. Our next speaker is the Speaker of the Provincial Parliament, Western Cape, the Honourable Sharna Fernandez.
Program Director, Executive Mayor of Eden District Municipality, Salga Chairperson of the Western Cape, Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Minister Mayor representing the Premier of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, members of the NA, NCOP, Provincial and Local Government, distinguished guests, welcome and good morning. It is indeed an honor for me to address you this morning in participating in taking Parliament to the People program and to make sure that we're true to the theme of the week, together making service delivery work for our people. As Speaker of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, I serve an institution priding itself in conducting its constitutional functions effectively and with specific emphasis on the oversight of the provincial executive and effective involvement of the public in our processes and work. Ultimately, all of these efforts are geared towards improving the lives of our people. We are elected to serve. This we can only do with the involvement and active participation of all stakeholders. But how effective are our efforts as legislators to involve the public meaningfully in decisions that affect them? And what are the outcomes we seek to achieve? Are these outcomes measurable at all, or are we just going through the motions to be able to tick boxes on the requirements of our Constitution? The South African Constitution provides a framework for our system of governance that is both representative and participatory. When South Africa drew up its constitutional and institutional arrangements, it was able to take advantage of contemporary thinking in the evolving relationships of creating vehicles for dialogue between the people and their governments. In short, it means that when people are not involved in the decisions that affect them, political interventions are likely to fail. Public participation should meaningfully improve the quality of policy and legislation, strengthen accountability, and enhance overall governance. The challenge is to find a way to ensure an integrated approach to fulfilling Parliament's mandate in order for it to play its role as a vital institution to promote good governance. As is the case in the rest of our country, the Western Cape has groups of people who have greater access to power and decision makers than others, and it is thus important to ensure that public participation not becomes skewed in favor of any one particular sector. Particularly, the less powerful and organized should not be excluded or marginalized from the process. The key constraints for the less powerful and the poor to participate in parliamentary processes, in my view, are communication, especially access to the media. Transport is another concern, education, and time. The Constitution, either directly or indirectly, deals with public participation or public interaction with government. Specifically, Section 118 compels provincial legislatures to facilitate public involvement in the legislative and other processes and conduct its business in an open manner and hold its sittings and those of its committees in public. In order to consolidate all efforts towards involving the public in parliamentary activities, there are, in my view, a number of key principles that must be adhered to. The key principles for effective and meaningful public participation should include inclusive participation, especially traditionally excluded groups, scope of participation initiatives from identification and design to monitoring and evaluation, provision of quality information, and in that aspect we are talking about the design and dissemination of information, accountability, a commitment to respond to inputs, coordination and operational efficiency to optimize costs and benefits. In terms of inclusiveness, we are talking about full participation by those affected by decisions taken at the legislature. It is essential, and therefore the identification of stakeholders covering the broad spectrum of society: youth, women, disabled, rural communities, etc. in any participatory initiative is vital. Partnership with the provincial government on this issue is important, especially with regard to the legislative processes, whereby the early identification of stakeholders and their participation early in the process is facilitated. It is important that the interests and the process needs of the participants be taken into account. That process should also seek out and facilitate the involvement of those potentially affected. In terms of scope, the stakeholder participation process and designs should be defined relative to the outcomes sought in order to properly monitor and evaluate the process. Quality information, public access to information is a precondition for effective participation. That information should be presented in an appropriate form and content and through effective channels to ensure accessibility by all stakeholders. Levels of literacy, language requirements, and methods of communication need to be taken into account. Accountability. The participation process must be meaningful and transparent and requires the decision makers to commit to responding to all inputs received and should encompass a sense that the public's contribution will influence the final outcome. The challenge is to facilitate the processing of inputs and to create accessible reports and adequate review processes. The limited level of coordination between civil society, the legislature, and the provincial government has to be addressed. It is also important to note that the participation processes may result in more time spent on decision making. Therefore, guidelines should be determined for the level and methodology of public participation in each case to ensure meaningful interaction. The actual implementation of each of these principles presents a number of challenges and opportunities that need to be recognized and addressed so that active participation is a cost-effective source of added value and not merely a set of factual requirements. It is furthermore important to reiterate that a systematic approach is taken to participation and not reactive and ad hoc approaches resulting in inconsistency and non-sustainability. Public participation initiatives and actions should at all times be underpinned by an effective communication strategy reaching all sectors of society. The Western Cape Provincial Parliament remains committed to engaging people on issues affecting them and will continuously endeavour to improve our processes and systems to make sure the voices of the people are heard. The Western Cape Provincial Parliament will also, in a spirit of cooperative government, work together with our colleagues at a local and national level in order to make service delivery work for our people. A big thank you to all involved in making this week happen, and may our interactions with the people of this wonderful part of our country yield positive results. I thank you.
Thank you, Speaker Fernandez from the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. Our next speaker is the Provincial Chairperson of SALGA, Western Cape, Councillor Dimitri Quali.
Program Director, Goeiemorgen, good morning, Mweni. It is really a delight to be in this very beautiful part of the country. The Honourable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Honourable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honourable Members and Special Delegates, Aldermen, Councillors, officials, and especially our most valued members of the public. SALGA is honoured and privileged to participate in this programme of Taking Parliament to the People. As we celebrate 15 years of democratic local government, it is timely to reflect on the journey we have travelled and to seriously examine how the three spheres of government engage with communities and each other with a view to deepening local democracy and expanding development. Our emerging democracy has made significant progress in many areas over the past 21 years. However, much remains to be done. The country has yet to vanquish all the negative legacies of the past and has therefore not as yet fully constructed its future. Many of the problems and challenges have revealed themselves to be grittier and more complex than anticipated. Developmental local government and cooperative governance are key elements in addressing these challenges. Developmental local government is defined as local government committed to working with citizens and groups within communities to find sustainable ways to meet their social, economic, and material needs and to improve the quality of their lives. The synergy of coordinated strengths and resources, together with cooperative efforts, both from communities and all our elected structures, will make a positive and substantial contribution to improved development of South Africa and its citizens. I believe that is so important, I wish to repeat it. The synergy of the coordinated strengths and resources, together with the cooperative efforts of both our communities and all our elected structures, will make a positive and substantial contribution to the improved development of South Africa and its citizens. As the constitutional structure where the three spheres of government meet, the NCOP plays a vital role in the promotion of the principles of cooperative government and intergovernmental relations. It is mandated to ensure that the different spheres of government work together in performing their unique functions in terms of the Constitution, and that, in doing so, they do not encroach in each other's area of competence. This is done through the NCOP providing a forum for participation in the national legislative process to ensure that provincial and local government interests are taken into account by the national sphere of government. We are making progress. The good news in the Western Cape is that no municipality is in the Auditor General's red zone. Audit outcomes have improved. Yeah, I think it's worth a lot more than that, yes. Not one municipality is in the red zone. Audit outcomes have improved generally in the Western Cape. Kannaland Municipality received for the very first time an unqualified 2013-14 financial year audit opinion. And Oudtshoorn Municipality will receive coordinated support from the relevant stakeholders. SALGA supports the concept of back to basics, which includes the principle of differentiation between municipalities functioning well and those that are not. As part of the program, SALGA's provincial Back to Basics team has visited the Western Cape municipalities identified as needing attention. Most of these municipalities have improved their position from the initial Kochte assessment and will now require a review of their categorization. But challenges do remain. While local government has seen progress in terms of improved access to services, the NCOP, in cooperation with SALGA, can play a significant part in addressing some of the more fundamental issues impacting service delivery. It is important to find the right balance between compliance and service delivery. Excessive legislation, regulation, and reporting requirements are having a negative impact on municipalities. We are very pleased that the NCOP is willing to take an active role in addressing these legislative, regulatory, and reporting constraints, which SALGA is currently documenting. Another serious issue is that of unfunded and underfunded mandates, which was raised by our members in national working groups and in the budget forum. It was also raised with the Honourable Minister of Kochte at the Western Cape Premiers Coordinating Forum last year, where he requested a business case be submitted. This will be finalized in April this year and includes such issues as municipal health and disaster management, which are current problems in the Eden District. Success in delivering basic services at local level is impacted by the effectiveness of coordination and the participation of all major role players, but it is also dependent on adequate financing. While acknowledging the difficulties in balancing the national budget, SALGA is of the view that local government, as the sphere closest to the people and providing a direct link in service delivery, it is not receiving a sufficient share of the equitable share funding. The review of powers and functions must also be addressed. For example, the assignment of the housing function, or more specifically, the decision to withhold the assignment of the housing function, must be reviewed by the NCOP. As we look ahead, we need to acknowledge that modern societies and systems of governance are constantly changing. It is debatable whether democratic governance has kept pace with the democratic, economic, and social transformation. However, there is no doubt that our country needs a vibrant, stable, and self-sufficient local government and leadership. As SALGA, we remain committed to working with the NCP and our other partners to find sustainable and long-term solutions to these fundamental challenges. We believe this type of engagement is a significant part of that process, and we wish you all for a successful week ahead.
Baie dankie raadslid Dimitri Kwali, die voorsitter van SALGA Weskaap. Our next speaker is the Western Cape Provincial Minister of Finance, Minister Ivan Meyer. Voor ek Minister Meyer vra om vorentoe te kom, can we also just acknowledge and welcome Honourable Minister Grant, who is also arrived now. Minister Grant, most welcome here. Dan vra ons Minister Meyer om vorentoe te kom.
Goeiemôre dames en here, good morning everybody, Molweni. Thank you to the program directors, to our deputy chairperson of the NCOP, the Honourable Mr. Tau, our national ministers present here, as well as the deputy ministers, our speaker of the provincial parliament, Ms. Fernandez, our deputy speaker, our provincial chairperson of SALGA, Councillor Kwali, executive mayors and executive deputy mayors present here today. I also see many speakers present here today and members of the NCOP, as well as all the chief whips and whips of all the various political parties, members and colleagues of the provincial legislature, councillors, community members, religious, traditional leaders, as well as our Khoisan leaders present here today, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you for this opportunity. But program directors, let me first congratulate this town of Oudtshoorn for successfully hosting the KAKA Festival last week, as it was a major success. Congratulations to all those who participated in this event and also the organizers. Can we give them a big round of applause? Because in this area, we need to grow the economy. And what they have demonstrated through festivals all over this region, in every major town, there are festivals which are becoming part of both the local tourism and cultural tourism in this particular area. And so I'm delighted that this morning we have also seen the traditional dances through the Khoisan dances in this community. As they were dancing, they were signifying what is rich and free in this area, and that is what I call cultural warmth, culturele warmte. Honourable program directors, We were present on the 7th of March when the NCOP had a public meeting in George. During that meeting, the Honorable Thandi Modise addressed the audience at Thembaletu Community Hall in George when she challenged and encouraged the people of the Eden District to understand the need of the government and the communities to do justice to service delivery through various projects in a collaborative effort all over this area. The chairperson of the NCOP then also at that meeting further highlighted the need for an assessment of whether leaders are in fact serving their own interest through corrupt means. She was blunt when she asked whether we are trying to fail people or whether we are trying to succeed in delivering service delivery through all the various municipalities in this area. She has also asked for suggestions during that meeting and also to encourage people who have complaints about service delivery and the abuse of power to speak up. It is in the same spirit that we in the Western Cape approaches this morning's proceedings. We do so because we believe that the citizens of the Western Cape deserve a capable and accountable and transparent government, and it is our collective vision of the national government, the provincial government and local government to serve the people collectively better together. It is for this reason on the 5th of March in the provincial legislature that we have tabled the provincial budget under the theme Implementing the National Development Plan, a Province at Work. Ons het dit gedoen, dames en heren, omdat ons glo in die 3 pilare van die nasionale ontwikkelingsplan, namelijk 'n bevoegde staat, aktiewe burgerskap en leierskap. Dames en heren, ons slagspreuk in die Weskaap is beter tesame. Vir ons is dit nie net 'n slagspreuk nie, maar dit is 'n werkswyse. Ons moet saamwerk om Suid-Afrika te laat slaag. Ons wil werk dat Eden slaag, sodat Suid-Afrika kan slaag. Daarom waardeer ons die uitreikaksie van die Nasionale Raad van Provinsies, ook hier in hierdie streek, want ons wil Suid-Afrika laat slaag. Ons moet almal saamwerk om samewerkende regering te laat slaag in Suid-Afrika. Ons is erns met ons toewyding om deur middel van samewerkende regering, ook hier in hierdie streek, in al die munisipaliteite in die Edenstreek te laat slaag. Dit is ons erns, dit is ons missie, maar dit is ook ons daaglikse taak. And therefore, delegates, we have started a process called the JPI, the Joint Planning Initiative. Together, and where applicable, implement these processes together. And I'm particularly happy that in this region, we are working across different spheres of government, both the national government, the various public entities, the provincial government, and the various local municipalities together in the space of the Joint Planning Initiative, because we have put the citizens at the center of our activities. And for us, it is no longer political football that we want to play. We are here seriously because we are taking citizen-centric governance serious. Equally, we are taking serious the creation of public value across different political persuasions, across different ideological persuasions, because when you engage with citizen-centric governance, the citizen is at the center, and the creation of public value is the common denominator. And so we have united as a nation behind the vision of the National Development Plan. And so in this province, it is no longer a national development plan, but it is now the national implementation plan. Because in this province, we must implement the national development plan. There is an emerging consensus in this region amongst all the mayors in this Eden district that we need to grow the economy and to create jobs. All over this Eden region, we hear the call for jobs. Daar is een sentrale boodskap deur die hele Eden distrik. Ons moet die ekonomie laat groei sodat mense werksgeleenthede kan hê. En daarom het ons in die Wes-Kaap ons eerste strategiese doelstelling daar gestel om die ekonomie te laat groei sodat ons kan werk skep. And therefore, together with the national government and the local authorities, we have started a project called Kulisa, meaning to grow. En dames en heren, binne daardie konteks het ons 3 sektore geïdentifiseer wat die grootste groeipotensiaal kan oplewer om die ekonomie te laat groei, ook binne hierdie Eden distrik. Die eerste sektor wat groot groeipotensiaal kan laat realiseer in hierdie streek, is die bevordering van toerisme. En al hierdie streke het 'n groot potensiaal vir die bevordering van toerisme in elke liewe dorp. En daarom is dit bly dat hierdie dorpe en hierdie streke het plaaslike ekonomiese ontwikkeling gevestig binne plaaslike toerisme. Selfs wanneer die verskillende kulture mekaar ontmoet, sien ons dat die kultuur raak nou 'n instrument van kulturele toerisme. Die tweede groot faktor vir die bevordering van ekonomiese groei in hierdie streek is die sogenaamde agro-processing en landbouprodukte. En daarom is landbou vir ons ook in die Wes-Kaap 'n belangrike katalysator, aangesien die nasionale ontwikkelingsplan dit ten doel stel om 1 miljoen werksgeleenthede in Suid-Afrika te skep. En daarom vir die volgende 3 jaar gaan die Wes-Kaapse regering 2,1 miljard rand beskikbaar stel vir landbouontwikkeling in die Wes-Kaap. Vanjaar alleen gaan ons 742 miljoen rand beskikbaar stel vir landbou. Want ons moet landbou red. Daar is 3 risiko's in die wêreld wat ook hierdie streek affekteer. Daardie 3 risiko's is water, elektrisiteit en voedselsekuriteit. Ons moet in hierdie gebied investeer. Van hierdie gebied moet vir ons kos voorsien. Maar om vir ons kos te voorsien, moet ons water hê. En om ons kos te voorsien, moet ons energie hê. En daarom het die Wes-Kaapse regering, saam die nasionale regering en saam ons adjunkminister van waterwese, dit erns gemaak om te kyk na watervoorsiening, om te kyk na energievoorsiening, maar ook om te kyk na voedselsekuriteit. Maar dames en here, daar is ook 'n derde area waar daar ook groot potensiaal is vir ekonomiese ontwikkeling in die Eden distrik. En dit het te maak met olie en gas. En daarom het die Wes-Kaapse regering ook tydens ons begroting geld beskikbaar gestel saam met die nasionale regering en die plaaslike munisipaliteite om te investeer in olie en gas. Want net om 1 olieboor te diens, het hy 1500 werkers nodig uit 30 verskillende dissiplines. En daarom is die Wes-Kaapse regering, as ook die nasionale regering en die plaaslike munisipaliteite dit erns om ook te investeer in die olie en in die gasbedryf. Dames en here, Kannaland, Oudtshoorn, George, Mosselbaai, Esequa and Knysna are all natural choices for tourism. And in this Western Cape, we will invest heavily over the next 3 years in tourism. As I've already mentioned, equally agriculture is at the heart of this particular region. And we also know that agriculture in this area is under pressure, less than 1% growth potential for the next 3 years. And for this reason, we will invest 742 million rand in agriculture in the Western Cape. In addition, delegates and members present here today, my colleague, the Minister of Economic Development and Agriculture, has submitted through the Cabinet an application of 240 million rand to the Job Fund to further stimulate the agricultural sector here in the Western Cape. Dames en heren, om die ekonomie te laat groei, moet jy investeer in infrastruktuur. En daarom is ek bly, my collega minister Donald Grant is ook hier. Want in sy departement gaan ons oor die volgende jaar totale begroting toeken van 6,7 miljard rand. Maar oor die volgende 3 jaar, dames en heren, gaan die Wes-Kaapse regering 17,3 miljard rand spandeer aan infrastruktuurontwikkeling, want om die ekonomie te laat groei, moet jy investeer in infrastruktuurontwikkeling. En spesifiek, dames en heren, oor die volgende 3 jaar in hierdie streek, in Kannaland, gaan ons 30,5 miljoen rand spandeer in infrastruktuur. Thank you to those from Kannaland, I hear you. To those people from Hesekwa, we will invest 195 million rand in infrastructure in Hesekwa, because it is important that we stimulate the job creation sectors in Hesekwa. We are now coming to George, the next potential metropolitan city outside the city of Cape Town. As the growth potential, as the driver of economic growth, we will invest 312 million rand in the infrastructure development in George. Thank you to the Speaker of George, I see you. I know you want more. In Knysna, very important area in this region, we will invest 143 million rand in infrastructure investment to further grow the economy in that particular space, because we also believe for the next 5 years, the GDP growth potential for construction here in the Western Cape has a growth potential of 5%. And so we are investing in Knysna 143 million rand in the next 3 years. Now in Bito, we will invest 125 million rand, because that is a very important area for us also here in the Western Cape. Maar dames en heren, onder leiding van minister Grant, werk ons saam met al die burgemeesters in hierdie streek aan 'n sogenaamde Eden Regeneration projek vir hierdie streek. Daar is interessante moontlikhede in hierdie streek binne die konteks van die sogenaamde Eden Regeneration projek, en hy sal op 'n latere stadium verdere aankondigings oor die verband maak. Dames en heren, the Eden district, as you know, has a population of 590,000 people. They represent about 10% of the Western Cape population. It has the third largest size of the regions within the province, as well as the third largest growth rate after the city of Cape Town and the West Coast district at 2.4%. Maar dames en heren, daarom moet ons almal saamwerk dat Eden streek die nodige infrastruktuur en die nodige kapasiteit het, sodat ons in hierdie streek die volgende metropolitaanse stad kan skep, want dit is aan die gebeur hier in hierdie streek. Dames en heren, ek sluit af. Program Director, let me conclude by highlighting further investments that will come to this particular region in the 2015-16 financial year. In response to the challenges of low growth, high unemployment and socio-economic challenges, through a framework of action, as what we call the Provincial Strategic Plan, which sets out our goals for the next 5 years, which are backed by a transversal departmental sectoral plans. We have set aside our agenda for action in the space of economic development. That's the key strategic objective of the Western Cape government. But equally, if you want to grow the economy, You must eliminate red tape. En daarom, dames en heren, gaan ons ook ernstig kyk na faktore soos energie, water, vaardigheidsontwikkeling, infrastruktuurontwikkeling. Binne die volgende 3 jaar gaan die Wes-Kaapse regering R150 miljoen investeer in vaardigheidsontwikkeling. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I have already indicated the investment for infrastructure, but the infrastructure spending on education for this area, housing, health and transport will total 1.43 billion rand is allocated to Eden, with transport receiving 788 million rand, education 319 million rand, health 41.6 million rand, and human settlements 280 million rand in this Eden region. Also, delegates, a total amount of 40 million rand will be spent on road infrastructure in Stilbaai area, which includes the rehabilitation of the road linking the town to the N2. Blanco in George is allocated 22 million rand under the transport infrastructure spend, and 26 million rand will be set aside for Glantana road upgrade that already started last year. Honorable Program Directors, the health infrastructure budget includes allocations for health technology infrastructure at the George Regional Hospital, 1.8 million, Mossel Bay District Hospital, 2.5 million, and in Oudtshoorn District Hospital, we will allocate additional amount of 2 million rand. Honorable members, we will also build and start building in this area a new Eden Nursing College in George with a total cost of 6 million rand in this financial year, with a further 15 million rand over the next 2 years. George will also be getting 2 new primary and 2 new secondary schools in Tembaletu and in Pakkelsdorp. Knysna will receive 2 primary schools, 1 secondary school in Hessequa, and Mossel Bay will get a primary school each, and Bito will get 2 primary schools. Oudtshoorn will get new primary school, which is currently in the planning phase, and in maintenance is scheduled for 3 primary and 3 secondary schools. I am very happy to announce that my colleague, the Minister of Social Development, will on this Thursday go to George, and where he will announce the first establishment and the launching of the first youth cafe outside the metropolitan area for the citizens of the George area, where we can give hope to the citizens in this particular area. And we need to give real hope. Ithemba. Hope is real hope for the youth in these youth cafes. And hope for us is an acronym that stands for HOPE, Higher Opportunities for People to Excel. And that's exactly what is the intention of this youth cafe, higher opportunities for people to excel. In addition, we will roll out broadband, internet access, free Wi-Fi hotspots, also in the rural areas, and continue the free internet access through our rural ICT network sectors. We will also start this year to connect the 2,000 government buildings with free Wi-Fi and hotspots. In George, another major public works projects are the modernization of the York Park building at a cost of 13 million rand, and upgrading of House de Klerk Hostel in Mossel Bay for 16 million rand. Honorable Program Directors, the NDP calls for active citizenry. Let us lay the foundation for citizens to engage and access the opportunities the NCOP Week creates, and in partnership with the various spheres of government, the Western Cape's philosophy of better together. Because if we work together with the communities through active citizenship and leave the political discourse aside and put the citizen at the center of our activities, we will make progress. We will save South Africa. we will create a better South Africa. We will create a better Eden area for the people of Eden. Program directors, I want to thank the members of the NCOP for coming to Eden, for listening to the voices of the people of Eden. Thank you for receiving the spirit of Eden, because on the meeting of the 7th of March, Honorable Member Tau, both you and the program directors and the chairperson of the NCOP accepted the warmth of the people of Eden. And I say we also accept the warmth of the NCOP. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for planning with us. And thank you for solving problems with us. I salute you. I thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Baie dankie minister Meyer vir die boodskap van hoop en van goeie nuus veral vir die Eden distrik. Baie dankie daarvoor. Thank you very much. We've reached almost the end of the program. We've got one last speaker on the program. It's now my honor to call forward the Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, the Honorable J.R. Tau.
Thank you very much, program directors, MEC for Finance in the Northern Cape, Western Cape Legislature. It's a provincial bias. Speaker of the provincial legislature, members of the executive, members of the NCOP and provincial legislature, including special delegates from other provinces that have seen it necessary to be part of this program. Executive Mayor of the Eden District, Provincial Chairperson of Salga, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. May I from the onset just submit the profound apology on behalf of the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, who unfortunately had to be summoned to attend to a very important institutional issue. And as a senior presiding officer, she then had to attend to that matter, for which she will join us later during the course of the week. As we have gathered here today in Oudtshoorn, we gather here at a very important and historical time of our developmental state. We have just surpassed the 20th year of our democratic parliament, which is a milestone in our historical journey to build a truly democratic and socially unified nation. I'm called to order that I did not recognize the mayor of Oudtshoorn local municipality. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. You are welcome, sir. You are recognized. Although we have traveled a long and difficult road over the past 20 years, we must acknowledge that much more still needs to be done to improve the living conditions of our people, and particularly the poor and the marginalized. We very often note that it is difficult for many to see and appreciate the extent and pace of transformation in the lives of ordinary South Africans, particularly the poor and those who ordinarily would not be able to access and improve their lives on their own. And indeed, this slow pace of transformation can be frustrating, particularly for those whose quality of life is still limited to the trappings of poverty as it is today. As we strive to work smarter and faster to achieve the objectives that are set out in the National Development Plan, the national legislative sector is now more than ever hard-pressed to strategically implement its oversight and accountability mechanism to improve the conditions of cooperative and good governance, and to deepen the constitutional democracy across all spheres, particularly amongst the communities on the ground. These imperatives are important anchor points as we strive to collectively improve our performance across various related sectors within our society. We note that the NCOP derives its mandate from the South African Constitution, which fundamentally defines and informs the work that we do as an institution. Protocol observed. Let me just observe the protocol. Baie van ons mense gaan onthou, including the Honorable Deputy Minister's Tshwete, then as the Discipline Whip in the National Assembly, and the Honorable Deputy Minister Nel, then as the Deputy Chief Whip of the Majority Party in the National Assembly, that the last time when we came to Oudtshoorn in 2008, we arrived here and landed here under the conditions or the understanding that ons said it as the People's Assembly. And as daai mense kan onthou wat daar so gewees het daai tyd, dit was groot asfal hierso. Toe ken ons ook nie om te sê wat gaat aan nie. Toe slaap ons iewers af 60 kilometers van Oudtshoorn af. Toe is dit baie. Maar daai tyd dat ons gesê soos parlement, dit is ons responsibility om na ons mense toe te gaan. Dit is onze responsibility om aan onze mensen te luisteren. En dit is onze responsibility om onze mensen's problemen of klagtes te brengen naar the attention or to the attention van the executive in order for such things to be responded to. Today, we are back again because by the day dat ons gesê, ons gaan terugkom om te kom sien om te sê, is daar verandering in die area van Oudtshoorn. En regtig, hier is ons. Ons is weer hierso om te kom sien om te sê, is die goeder se gaan doen wat gesê was om te sê, dit was gaan doen. Dis waarom is ons hierso as the National Council of Provinces, as part of program of taking parliament to the people, because is nie al onze mense wat kan Cape Town toe gaan nie. Is nie al onze mense wat cellphones kan bekostig om parlement te bel nie. Is nie al onze mense wat sal e-mails kan stuur parlement toe nie. Paar van onze mense wil men ons praat, hulle wil men ons interact, maar hulle kan nie. Because hy geld wat hy moet opklim om Kaapstad toe te gaan, om 'n petition te gaan submit. Daai geld wat hy moet bel, daai geld wat hy moet 'n e-mail moet gaan betaal, om matters by the attention van members of parliament te bring, is geld wat hy moet gebruik om kind te mati en vlees te koop om te eet. Dis waarom het ons gesê, soos die National Council of Provinces, it is our responsibility to leave Cape Town, to leave the precincts and go and meet with our people, to listen to them, to listen to what they are saying and what their problems are. So we must always look at this program of taking parliament to the people in that context of expanding and enhancing the participation van onze mensen in order for them also to feel part of this democracy, to be part of it and to actively direct the extent to which this democracy needs to move out. The National Development Plan is the blueprint of our developmental state, and it aims to ensure that all South Africans attain a decent standard of living through the elimination of poverty and the reduction of inequality. As stipulated by the National Development Plan, the core elements of a decent standard of living identified are as follows, because it is important dat ons mense moet verstaan om te sê wat is die National Development Plan. Wat is dit wat eintlik wat die staat sê ons moet doen of wat die regering sê dit sal gebeur en wat then becomes our role? Hoe monitor ons om te sê gebeur die goeders en al daai? Ons moet nou nie net uitgooi dan sê ons is die National Development Plan nie. Ons sê housing, water, electricity and sanitation are very important. Safe and reliable public transport, very important. Quality education and skills development for Onsemense in order for our people to be self-reliant and be able to transfer those skills to their children in order for them to have a better life. Safety and security for our people so that even our women must be able to walk around freely without any fear of being raped, mugged or whatsoever. Quality health care so that ons kinders as hulle gebore word, hulle moet groot word in 'n environment and daar waar hulle a quality life can enjoy without falling sick each and every now and then, without necessarily focusing on a particular problem that our society is faced with, but health in general, from infancy up to adulthood and so forth. Social protection, employment, which is a very important issue that is a cry out to our people as we speak. Recreation and leisure. Het onze kinders plekke om te speel. Het onze kinders plekke om te interact. Het onze kinders plekke daar waar hulle kan groei or grow. Dan ken hulle om te sê, hulle is South Africans en hulle sien mekaar so South Africans. Nie die ander ene dan sien nie, die ander ene soos 'n poor ene wat diks het nie, wat die skoene het nie, wat die kan speel nie. A clean environment, because a clean environment will contribute towards a healthy environment and therefore a healthy human being. Adequate nutrition, obviously without adequate nutrition, as jy nie breakfast geëet het vandag nie, ek is doodseker by 1 o'clock, paar van die mense gaan nou klaar begin huil van suiker en by ander spanne gaan nou val nou ook nou. So nutrition is very important. Hoe maak ons mense om te sê hulle moet self-reliant is, ook om die land te gebruik daar waar hulle bly om adequate nutrition te have. Therefore today, through the Taking Parliament to the People program, we are bringing together all spheres of government in order to respond decisively to the core elements of the NDP 10-point plan. Because today, as you can see, we are having national, province, and local under one roof in order to respond to this 10-point plan of the National Development Plan. It therefore becomes even more important that all spheres of government and all organs of state within each sphere cooperate with one another in order to achieve the NDP objectives. In moving forward, we must continue to build a mutual trust by fostering friendly relations and coordinating our actions and legislation with each other and adhering to agreed procedures if we had agreed on a particular procedure. Cooperative governance is therefore a key element in the attainment of the goals of a developmental state. In preparing for the proceedings of this week, we have undertaken a number of important activities to ensure that our discussions and engagements this week are driven by verified facts which must be responded to. Our preparatory work included the following. We conducted oversight research in the Eden District and the city, of course, of Cape Town, because not necessarily was the program so confined to Eden, but also broadly to look at issues and other challenges that our people are faced with in the Western Cape as a province. We followed up with preliminary visits by our committees of parliament. Concluded our preparations with a public meeting in George to hear from the public and of course to outline the agenda of this particular week. The reports that have been developed for the preparatory phase of the program have been brought to the attention of all the relevant stakeholders. And during this week, we expect robust dialogue sessions and substantive feedback from the relevant departments. For this week, we will commence, of course, with the public hearing on local government, which will end at 1 o'clock. We want our people to, we want you to speak out. We want you to tell us, is local government working for you? And if it is not working for you, what is it that you are suggesting needs to be done in order to improve the capacity, if it's a question of capacity of our municipalities, in order to work for you? Because it is important that it must work for you as the ordinary South Africans. We will continue with the human settlements, water and sanitation public hearings, which will end at 5 o'clock this afternoon, Sispep or Mampel. We want to hear from our people once more. What is it that they think needs to be done and be improved? And then tomorrow, because I'm outlining this program, honorable members and members of the public, to avoid a situation, because you see, experience has taught us that sometimes you find we know our people have got many problems, but on a day of a particular subject matter, they will be raising matters of another day, which then creates confusion to members of the executive who are supposed to be responding to questions and so forth. So I'm just outlining this program so that our people must be able to know exactly where my area of interest is, and therefore I must be able to come and participate on that particular day. Meaning, therefore, tomorrow, ours will be now to deal with basic and higher education, therefore education broadly. You would then have your issues. The MEC has made serious pronouncements around matters related to education and so forth. Tomorrow it will be your opportunity now. I don't want to lead you on what kind of questions to ask the MEC, but you are there. You know what to ask the MEC in relation to issues related to education. That will be followed then by agriculture, labor, and land reform. That is on Wednesday. Agriculture, labor, and land reform. That will be on Wednesday, where we'll either have the Deputy Minister of Labor or the Minister of Labor, the Minister of Agriculture, to come and to listen and also respond to some of the issues that you would have raised or you'd be raising on that particular day. And then on Thursday, we'll then have our Minister, Police and Justice related matters to then come and deal with those issues related to safety, the improvement of the capacity of the police to provide a safer environment for our people in general. So that will be insofar as public hearings are concerned. And then on Friday then, that is the big day for us, where we will then receive the annual address by the Deputy President of the Republic. And obviously on that day, normally, you'll then have, it's a formal sitting. We won't be having now the participation of the public. It will be a formal sitting of the National Council of Provinces, where the President would now be addressing not only, of course, these members who would have been sitting in these chairs that would have been arranged and so forth, but also speaking to the nation in general on the issues that he would want to address on that particular day. But this is his annual address to the National Council of Provinces. Ordinarily, you see, this is another unique element that our people need to understand. Ordinarily, the President was eintlik gespreek in Cape Town in. Maar hier is the National Council of Provinces. Hy vat die Deputy President, hy bring hom hier so in Eden om saam met ons mense te kom praat, direct. Hulle gaan hom kom luister, direct gaan hom julle kom or jy gaan julle kom bespreek op daai particular day. So dit is baie belangrik om te sê op daardie dag onze mense moet uitkom om te kom luister om te sê wat sê onze deputy president in so far as the annual address van hom is in relation to the state of governance in the country, because on that day gaan hy nie net praat van Eden se goedere nie. Hy gaan ook ander goedere address van die country and so forth, because it's his annual national address to the National Council of Provinces. But the uniqueness or the most interesting part is that ons het die president, deputy president or die adjunct president hier na toe gebring om te kom onze mense kom om onze mense te kom bespreek. So I just want to conclude by saying that you know, that's a thought-provoking quote from Mahatma Gandhi. I hope I'll not be challenged ideologically and otherwise insofar as this is concerned, MEC. Let me have the freedom to have the quote because it is relevant. Whether ideologically it is relevant or theoretically it is relevant, it's another matter for another day. We will debate it some other time. But this is what he had to say, which is quite important, and I think it must always guide us as we do our work. He says the following, I quote, open quote, "The things that will destroy us are, the things that will destroy us as a people are politics without principle, application of politics without principle, pleasure without conscience, wealth without work, knowledge without character, business without morality, science without humanity, and worship without sacrifice," close quote. That is what he said when he addressed the Indian parliament, trying to build a united nation with high standards. He then had to say this to them as part of raising their level of consciousness in order for them to understand the challenges that the people of India were faced with. And it is important, I mean, looking at the roots of him, and therefore I may stand to be challenged ideologically and otherwise, but let it be outside of the meeting. Let us therefore remain steadfast in our advance to build a socially cohesive and economically free society in order to enable our people to experience freedom in our lifetime. Thank you very much, program directors.
Another round of applause to our Deputy Chairperson, Honorable Tau. Honorable members, we are really doing well in terms of time. We are now going to call upon our dancers to come and dance for the members of parliament and the members of the legislature. And as they are preparing themselves to come and ascend the stage, let me take this opportunity and thank the MEC. Oh, he has left. Okay, let me take this opportunity to thank the MEC because in his budget he did not forget Heseko Municipality. And I was happy because when we were doing our pre-visit, I was fortunate to go and do my pre-visit in the Heseko Municipality. And I believe the Mosel Bay group won't be angry with me and those who went to George, because I was going to ask the MEC that they must take the whole money to Heseko Municipality, because we did make some promises that will take their issues to the province so that the province can come and then address them. So now I hope the Chief Whip won't be angry with me. They must take the whole money to her second municipality. Thank you very much. And I am also happy that he did request that we should put the people in the center. And in by so doing, we'll be putting them really in the center, and we'll make sure that there is higher opportunity for them all. So I really want to request the group to come and dance for the members of parliament. The Uniondale reed dancers, are they here? Are they ready? As they are busy preparing themselves, after the group would have performed their dance, we are going to then request us to go into the second session, where we are going to now enter into the public hearing on the local government. The panelists, our ministers who are here, and the other councillors will then join, ascend the stage, as we will be going down there to join the other members. I don't know who is taking care of the dancers, because I cannot see them coming in. Oh, they are here. A round of applause to the dancers as they are ascending the stage. Then after them, I'm going to thank our panelists who are doing so well this morning to join us as we'll be going down, and ask others to come and ascend the stage. Thank you very much.
Mama kan nie weer trou nie. Mama kan nie weer trou nie. My eerste vrou was my bittere berou. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. My mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. My eerste vrou was my bittere berou. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. Mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. My eerste vrou was my bittere berou. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. My eerste vrou was my spyt en berou. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. My eerste vrou was my byt en berou. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. My eerste vrou was my spyt en berou. Ja, my mama sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ek sal nie weer trou nie. Ja, mama, ik zal niet weer trouw nie. Mijn eerste vrouw was mijn spijt en berouw. Ja, mijn mam zal niet weer trouw nie. Staat net zo. Als hierdie vrou se bek. As hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, ja. Dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, ja. Dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, ja. Dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, ja, dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, ja, dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, hierdie vrou se bek, ja. Dat is hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Ja, dis hierdie vrou se bek, is hierdie vrou se bek, ja. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek, ja. Dis hierdie vrou se bek. Dis hierdie vrou se bek wat ek so plaas vir plaas moet trek. Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak
Can I then
my
ask the panelists to shift and go that other side of the table, and those who are going to take part on the second session come forward. Thank you. Continue, Papa, with your song.
Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Onder die wolkombeers van jou. Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Onder die wolkombeers van jou. Bokkie maak my toe. Ja, bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Onder die wolkombeers van jou. Jaloers bokkie, jaloers bokkie. Zwaar sal jy kry. Ja, zwaar sal jy kry. Maar vir my sal jy nie kry. Jaloers bokkie, met jou stikkende rokkie. Zwaar sal jy kry, ek sê jou. Ja, zwaar sal jy kry. Maar vir my sal jy nie kry. Al hang jy aan die hakkiesdraad. Al hang jy aan die hakkiesdraad. Al hang jy aan die hakkiesdraad. Maar vir my sal jy nie kry. Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Bokkie maak my toe. Onder die wolkombeers van jou. Bokkie maak my toe. Ja, Boki mag mij doen. Boki mag mij doen. Onrival kombers van jou.
Hala la idin district halala. Hala la idin district halala. Uzwethola kanjani? Uzwethola kanjani? Thank you very much. We are going to proceed with the business of the day. My name is Jihad Mohapi, the chairperson of the Select Committee of COGTA, which is Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Public Service and Admin, Women, Youth and Intergovernmental Relations. We have converged here today to ensure that National Council of Provinces interacts with our own communities. I am not alone. I'm with my co-program director, which is Honorable Ngasela, who's going to assist me during the proceedings of today. Allow me, without any waste of time, to remind you that the theme for this program is 20 years of democratic parliament. But for this public hearing, allow me to acknowledge the leadership of the National Council of Provinces, in absentia, the Chair, Metandi Mudise, the Deputy Chair, the Chief Whip, the House Chair, Honorable Nyambi, in absentia, and Honorable Dikhale, who has just left the stage now. Also to acknowledge in our midst the special and permanent NCOP delegates present here today, the deputy ministers will be running with us through the proceedings of the session, the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and MPLs from Western Cape, Legislature, the Executive Mayor, Mayors, and Councillors present here, Salga Provincial Chair, most importantly, our communities who are going to be afforded an opportunity, those that are still faced with three triple challenges of unemployment, of poverty and inequality. And also acknowledge officials who have ensured that they do the preparations for today under the leadership of Advocate, who's the NCOP Secretary, Advocate Pindela, and your team of officials present here. Remember, purpose of us is to ensure that we celebrate this day differently. We celebrate one of the historical days in the Western Cape, Indian District, Oudtshoorn, where we are hosting Taking Parliament to the People, which is a culmination of a number of interactions that took place preceding today's gathering. We had an outreach by officials who ensured that they go out and in and around Eden District in various parts of the municipalities. We also had the preliminary visit by the MPs and the MPLs who joined us during the week of the 6th of March with the public meeting that was addressed by Honorable Metandi Mudise, the chairperson of NCOP. I just want to remind our residents that it's not by default that we are here. It's because we are here in realization and justification of those words that were said by our great, great leaders in 1955 when they said to us, no government can justly claim authority unless it's based on the will of the people. We are today going to deal with issues that affect local government in particular. In case you'll be raising issues that are not relevant to local government, would humbly put your question aside and ensure that we refer it to other sessions that will be dealing with other aspects that will be affecting our own communities. The theme for this session will be working together to ensure the delivery of quality services to our communities, and would do so in realization of the provision of the Constitution, particularly Section 72 and Section 118 of our Constitution, which encourages the provincial legislature and the NCOP to involve our communities. Allow me, without any waste of time, to outline the procedure. We are going to have 4 points where the mics will be made available for our communities to pose questions and input. We are going to start affording 10 questions for a start. Immediately thereafter, we would afford our panelists an opportunity to respond to those questions and comments that will be made. But allow me to confirm in our midst those that will be our panelists. We have a rep from the Department of Water Affairs and from the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, Honorable P. Tswete, who is the Deputy Minister. We have also Einel, who is the Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. We have also in our midst a councillor who is the Executive Mayor of Eden District, and also a rep on behalf of the Ministry of Mayor Madigizela, who will be assisting us in terms of responding to questions. Without any waste of time, allow me to start affording our communities an opportunity to pose questions. You'll just go to the next microphone that is next to you, then we'll be guided by those that will be assisting us as officials to show us who are ready to pose questions and ask or make comments. Can I just get an indication? Officials, can you ensure that you are ready? I noticed some hands over there. Can you go to the nearest mic? Can officials assist us with the mics that are next to our communities? Quickly, we don't have luxury of time.
Molweni, goeiemorgen, sanbonani. Let me salute my VIPs, the people of Eden District. Good morning. Our VIPs must say good morning. Goeiemorgen. Yeah. Prachtig. We are going to take the first 10 questions, but I have observed there's a bit of a challenge in terms of translating those questions, because a person must be able to ask a question in the language that they are comfortable with. Are we together there? You ask a question in the language that you are comfortable with, and then we'll translate that question for the panelists to understand the question. And then the panelists, if they've been introduced, they will then respond to the questions. I just want to see whether the floor managers there. Are you ready? Are we ready? All right. All the human settlements question will go to Minister Bonginkosi Madikizela, who has been tasked to represent human settlement in its totality, because the Minister, Lindiwe Sisulu, is not with us. So she has delegated to Madikizela with the mandate to respond on human settlements. So you are Minister of National Human Settlements for a day, sir. And then all the other questions, for instance, cooperative governance, which is local government, Uba Unel, Deputy Minister Nel will deal with them. And then questions around water and all the other things. As we know, Olifants River is a problem now in terms of sewage. That has been brought to my attention. Uma Muchwete will deal with those questions. And then Vesi, you'll deal with the others, Minister Mhlekazi, Councillor van der Westhuizen. Councillor Westhuizen, yes. All right, let's take the first question, please.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Honorable Deputy Ministers, Executive Mayor of Eden District Municipality. All protocol observed.
Can they use
I've got the first question, and that question goes to the Executive Mayor of Eden. Executive Mayor, I hope that you have picked up in your 2012-16 IDP as well as your 14-15 IDP that fictitious statistics has been used that have indicated that Mossel Bay is the second biggest municipality. According to State South Africa, it's not the case, it's Oudtshoorn. And for the last few years, allocations has been made on fictitious statistics that's in your IDP. I would like you to respond on that IDP has been approved by your council. And I would like to pose a question to the Honorable Deputy Minister Steve Tshwete regarding the water crisis within Eden District Municipality, specifically addressing the Oudtshoorn and Kannaland. Deputy Minister, if you listen to the allocations made by the acting Premier, Dr. Ivan Meyer, again, allocations has been made on statistics that does not reflect the real story on the ground. Kannaland gets 30 million rand out of the budget of a province that spends 17-point-something billion rand. Kannaland and Oudtshoorn urgently need water to unlock the economic potential of these two towns. What are your ministry going to do to assist these two municipalities? Honorable Minister Andries Nel, I would like to pose the question, and again I would like to highlight as last week to yourself the challenge that we sit with within Oudtshoorn as well as the Eden District Municipal Area. There is so-called billions and millions is going to be spent according to Dr. Meyer. He indicated that millions will be spent on tourism. It is still an elitism industry in this area. Bruin en swart mense kry nie werk by die toerismebedryf nie, ons is die skoonmakers. Wanneer daar gepraat word van infrastruktuur ontwikkel, is ons nou moeg om na die dorp te gaan, te kessel vir 7 dae, ons wil ook eienaars van besighede wees. En ek weet dat u sal respond, al is nie die minister van toerisme vandag nie. Minister Nel, dan die allocasie van infrastruktuur. Ons het 'n uitdaging in die manier hoe die Wes-Kaap regering dit toeken. En ek haal aan uit Dr. Meyer se toespraak. George Municipaliteit 300 miljoen rand. Kannaland 30 miljoen rand. Nou vra ons vir onsself die vraag, agbare minister, is dit nie volgens die politieke lyntjies wat hier nou weer geallokeer word? Mense in Kannaland het dit nodiger as mense in George nie.
All right. I'm going to make a special plea. Thank you, sir, for asking those questions. My plea is very simple. Let us ask questions and try to be concise and as brief as possible so that you don't make a speech that will make it difficult for the person to respond.
The first question was on the allocation of funds to various districts, particularly to Kannaland, which the Speaker felt was getting a raw deal, and then the allocation also of jobs in the tourism industry, where too few blacks are being employed and they only get subservient roles there.
Thank you. Next one.
Good day.
My name is Piet van der Hoofen. I am a councillor at the George Municipality and the Chief Whip of the ANC at the Eden District Municipality. My first issue that I want to raise is regarding the tools of the trade for councillors. There's a communique and the government gazette regarding tools of the trade for councillors. PR councillors in George are not allowed to use public facilities, council facilities, to have public meetings. As all councillors are deployed by their ANC, by their political structures. As ANC councillor, I need to have report back meetings, and all PR councillors need to have report back meetings at least once a month. Fact is that every time we need to utilize a venue, we have to pay out of our own pocket. Is that tools of the trade? We need to address that issue soonest. There were many occasions where this issue has been raised in the George Council to no avail. Mixed funds from national and provincial governments are the only funds that are utilized to uplift disadvantaged communities. Funds raised by municipalities are not distributed in order to make sure that there's equality. We need to get an indication how municipalities can contribute to better the lives of people in disadvantaged areas and not utilize just mixed funds that come from national government.
All right.
In the municipalities where I'm involved, it's more of a DA, employment agency, than anything else. That applies for the Eden District as well as for the George Municipality. Surely something must be done about that, and legislation should be implemented. Then, regarding involvement of councillors in the administration, en Afrikaans sê hulle inmenging in die administrasie. There's a out of the blue report. I want to know regarding the out of the blue report regarding the employment of area managers in the George Municipality. The DA has sort of swept this report from the table. There's
Ngosi, thank you, sir.
Now there's two more issues that I need to address.
There's a long queue behind you. It's not fair to them.
In course.
Thank you. I'm going to again make this appeal because that was a third person.
Yeah.
But then the set of questions are more than what could be taken within the next hour that we have. Our session runs up to lunchtime. So I just want to appeal, just bear with me, I just want to appeal that we do as the previous speaker did. You just ask questions, but to just become circumspect of the fact that we are not here for the whole day on this particular session. Kukhona abantu abangavayo isilungu nesibhulu. Kunjalo? Qina mhlali qina. Qina mhlali qina. Ndifuna ukucela uxolo. Nxe bethuna siyaxolisa. Ya sizawuqhuba sizivanga. We'll mix as we go along so that we can accommodate as many people as possible under the trying circumstances. Ndizawucela uba xa umuntu efuna ukubuza umbuzo awubuze ngesintu okanye awubuze ngeAfrikaans okanye awubuze ngesilungu. Yonke imibuzo yamkelekile. The next question please.
Baie dankie meneer die voorsitter. My naam is Councillor Charlie Bob van George. My volgende vraag is aan u, is aan die departement in die Weskaap rondom die toiletgeriewe. My vraag is dat, hoe kan gemeenskappe in hierdie nuwe dispensation nog 5 gemeenskappe, 5 huisgesinne, 1 toilet deel? Dis my vraag, eerste vraag.
My first question concerns toilet facilities. And my question is, how can in this new South Africa 5 families still be asked to share 1 toilet?
Die ander vraag wat ek ook wil vra aan die provinsiale regering is dat 16 jaar in die nuwe Suid-Afrika in George. Ons het nou net gehoor hoeveel miljoene word aan George spesifiek beskikbaar gemaak. Maar tot en met vandag is daar nog nie maar een woongebied in George wat die gemeenskappe integreer nie. Wat is die plan van die regering in die provinsie en in George spesifiek om gemeenskappe te integreer?
We just heard how much money was being allocated to George, but up to date, not a single integrated residential area has been created in George yet. And we want to know, when will that happen?
My volgende vraag is dat ons het 'n woongebied, 'n informele gebied met die naam van Protea Park in George, waar die gemeenskap al vir 16 jaar lewe in informele gebied. En tot en met vandag toe is daar nog nie 1 huis gebou deur die regering van George, die DA-regering en die Weskaap-regering nie. Ons wil weet, vir hoe lank moet daardie gemeenskappe nog in daardie strukture bly? Die planke is besig om met mekaar uit te val, die gemeenskappe, die ou mense sterf uit, die jong mense gaan nie kwalifiseer vir die huise nie. Hoe lank moet hulle nog wag voor hulle kan huise kry?
Okay, thank you. That is the last question for you, sir. You can translate and then the next speaker.
There's an informal settlement, Protea Park in George, and that has been in existence for 16 years. Now the huts and structures are falling apart, and we want to ask the provincial government, how long do we still have to wait before the department intervenes and builds permanent structures there?
Die laaste vraag is dat in George sit ons
No, I
met
said
60%.
the last one was the
Die
last
laaste een in George sit ons met 60% van ou huurhuise wat oor die 30 jaar deur mense gehuur was. Daardie huise is in 'n gevallige posisie. Die deure val uit mekaar uit, die huise kraak uit mekaar uit. En nou wil die gemeenskap van George weet, wanneer gaan die regering in hierdie provinsie seker maak dat die huise reg kan gemaak word? Want huise is oorgedra aan die mense.
Thank you, I said thank you, that's enough. All right. I'm going to ask this once more time. Just one more time. Those who are managing the mics there, I'm asking you to really bear with us as we're managing the program from the front here. I want to ask that we limit a person to just 2 questions maximum per person. Otherwise, we'll sit here forever and ever. Amen. The next speaker, please.
Okay, thank you. Die vorige besoek van die NCOP, my naam is Leon Kamfer, ek is gemeenskapsleier in Duiselsdorp. Tydens die vorige besoek van die NCOP aan Duiselsdorp, het die NCOP so vinnig in Duiselsdorp ingekom, en so vinnig as hulle uit ook. Hulle het eers hulle gewis van wat binne in Duiselsdorp werklik aangaan nie.
The previous time the NCOP paid visit to Duiselsdorp, they went in so quickly and left again, they didn't really get time to realize all the problems they have.
Gaan die NCOP weer kom om te kom kyk aan wat werklik in Duiselsdorp aangaan?
So will the NCOP come once again to really figure out what really is going on in Duiselsdorp?
My volgende vraag is, ek neem aan of ek het verneem dat die burgemeester uiteindelik uitgeskop is.
My next question is, I assume the mayor has been kicked out.
Ek het by die public protector 2 klagtes ingedien, nadat ek gesien het, die regering doen niks aan ons pleidooi oor die burgemeester se doen en late nie.
And I've now submitted 2 charges to the public protector against the mayor because I see that nothing is being done against our plea to get rid of the mayor.
Die burgemeester bekom grond wat niemand weet hoe en wat de prosesse gevolg was hier.
The mayor is able to attain property and nobody knows how he's able to do it.
Die burgemeester gebruik vir die afgelope in sy termyn die die amptelike voertuig elke dag werk toe en elke dag terug uit Duiselsdorp uit Oudtshoorn toe.
The mayor uses his state vehicle from Duiselsdorp to Oudtshoorn every single day.
Okay, thank you. I guess you've put across your views.
My last question, Duiselsdorp, we heard the previous meeting, the CIDP meeting, we heard that there's a water crisis in Duiselsdorp. That's why there can't be houses, can't be built there. But that we heard only now. But our officials in Oudtshoorn Municipality knew this for as long as they knew it. Now today, 25 years after has been built in Duiselsdorp, they come and tell us that story. There's a water in Blossoms. There's water. Did they communicate with the provincial government or did they communicate with the national government in order to see if you can't assist? Because Duiselsdorp have got the water crisis. And the water crisis, because of the water crisis, there can't be houses built in Duiselsdorp. Can you please intervene from the government side and see that houses can be built in that area? Because we can't wait for another year or another month enable for people to build houses. Thank you.
All right, that will be my last. That will be my last for this session. And then the next round will come once the panelists have responded. Otherwise, we'll lose track of questions, you see. We want, once you ask a question, to get a response. So this is the first 5. Then after this, we'll then take another round. Let me just recognize the groups that have been dancing for us here this morning. You've been doing a very good job. That's arts and culture. And you know, this place is very rich on culture. I saw Honorable Lecker was saying that she wants to join them. So it's beautiful.
Few announcements. Thank you very much for your attention, please. Can I also acknowledge one of our panelists, Ntate Bonginkosi Madikizela, who is the MEC for Human Settlement in Western Cape, will be assisting in responding to questions that relate to human settlement. May I make a clear indication or directive to the House? We are not going to afford any councillor an opportunity to pose any question. This gathering is specifically meant for ordinary citizens who are unable to have an opportunity to interact with their public reps. So councillors, please bear with us. We'll still have an opportunity at a separate platform, not here. Councillors, please bear with us. We request your own cooperation in this regard. Again, there are people living with disability who won't be able to queue up as and when we queue up for posing questions and making input. We are humbly requesting officials from NCOP, can you ensure that you assist by identifying these important residents who are equally entitled to participate in this gathering? Can I then afford our panelists an opportunity to respond to questions? Where we have further engagement, you will still be granted an opportunity by making a written submission, which will be followed up as and when we have post-program of oversight by the select committees from various levels. Panelists, I'm not sure who's going to start. Oh, Mamswete, can you give a round of applause?
Molweni, good day. My name is Pam Chwete. I'm the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation. I would want to greet all the members of Parliament, the mayors, the councillors, the Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, all the MPs that are here today. I've received 1 or 2 questions. And I'm going to start by saying I am not Steve Tshwete. I'm the wife, Pamela Tshwete. Steve Tshwete died 13 years ago. He was the Minister of Police. I want to direct myself to the first question, which is around Canaland. I want to say I'm going to mix languages. I'm going to speak English and Xhosa. Canaland is a huge shortage of water in Ladysmith. I want to start there so that you understand why we've given the amount of money that we've given to Canaland. And the Afrikaans, I'm very bad in Afrikaans. Weeskop within Canaland, local municipality, Ladysmith town is hard hit by water shortages. At present, the dams have enough water to supply until the end of this financial year. For those reasons, somebody was asking about distribution of money. Why are they given the amount that they've received? What we did as the national government, we've given recently, I want you to know this, ndifuna unixelela kakuhle ukuba ngoku ekuqalekeni kwale financial year, at the beginning of this financial year, we've given 9 million to assist with equipping more boreholes because their problems were around shortages of boreholes. Siyayazi ukuba thina ukuqala kwethu mna no minister endimcela uxolo today who is not around us because he's in Korea. He attended issues of water and sanitation to assist us. And I want to say to you, when we started, myself and the minister, we visited all provinces. We started by Western Cape. We had a meeting with the Premier of the Western Cape. We are still going to come to the Western Cape. At the moment, we are dealing with a huge problem of sanitation in the Western Cape. We know that here, somebody was saying they are sharing toilets. Asifuni bantu bashara i-toilets. And siyazixelela into yokuba abantu abaninji njengokuba befumana ukurejwa, it is because of sharing toilets. And we have the planning, integrated planning with municipalities. We now want, when we build houses as water and sanitation, we make sure that at the level of the planning, that we make sure that the house has water, flash water, and also we want to make sure that that house is equipped with everything so that you don't go outside and share toilets. That's what we're doing at the moment. We want to correct all the mistakes. We don't want anybody who's sharing toilets. Ilindle ayiyonto inhle sisidima somntu ngaphezulu amanzi abona abantu basafarishayo emanzini ngabantu abangomama. We then say thina apha emanzini we noticed many issues. I want to raise this issue in Canaland, that one of the issues that we are faced is the water leaks, the leaks on water. Then we say we have a program that calls War on Leaks. We are going to make sure that we train our people. We know that abantu abaninji bethu iprogram yethu esinayo ezawuncedisana nokuba kube kungabikho ngxaki zamanzi. Kwezinye indawo amanzi akhona kodwa ayamosheka kwisithuba sokokuba ayavuza amanzi kungabikho abantu impompo ziyekwe zivuza. Tina, we know that upresident ngexesha wayethetha wasixelela into kokuba amanzi apha ngenyaka sibhatala 7 billion. Therefore, for those reasons, this water and sanitation is having a program which is going to embark on training the youth specifically. But again, Canaland, because we want to make sure that women are also trained, we are saying we must make sure that we take care of women. From those people that we are going to train, we are not going to train. Gone are those days that we say this is the work for men only. We want also women to participate in this training. We're therefore going to train people in terms of making sure that they are trained in artisans, plumbing, and we are going to do that. Furthermore, funds are available within current financial year, but ZO received help from the Western Cape government. I do want to acknowledge the Western Cape government by making sure that they've given, I know that they've given UZO money, though I'm not quite sure about the money that they've given, but we got a report that the money that we've given to Canaland, which is 9 million, again, the Western Cape government is also giving ZO money. The last point, yes, the last point, the Department of Water and Sanitation will have a meeting with the municipality to review the water service development plan of the municipality. When we were going from province to province, the one issue that we came up with, sinengxaki bethunani yomasipala, abanye abenzi kakuhle, abantu bethu ababasevisi kakuhle, sithi siyayazi into kokuba nathi basinyula abantu, sinyula ii-councillors, masiyeke ukuthatha abantu abangena capacity to do the work. Masithathe abantu who have the capacity to do the work. We can't afford abantu who cannot do the work kamasipala because sisokola kangaka nje izi mistakes zethu of taking people who have no capacity to deliver. We are now saying in the next local government election, Bantu, base 8, make sure that alizukuthatha abantu abazobazizithithinya abangakwazi usebenza. Sifuna uthi make sure into yoba thina singu-water and sanitation sidiniwe ukufela amatyala koomasipala, siyabethwa ngoomasipala, sibethelwa iingxaki zoomasipala singu-water and sanitation. People phone us at night to say we don't have water. All these municipalities, they have water boards. So those water boards are for to complement municipalities to make sure that there is enough water. If Londo ayenzeki, thina la department iphethwe ngomama, sizawudila ngomntu ongafuna usebenza. Siza kumkhupha xa engafuna usebenza. Xa ndihlala phansi, ndifuna ukuthi eyokugqibela intetho yam i-around i-distribution yemali ivele kabini. Sizayimonitarisha le nto yase-Western Cape. Hayi ndiyafuna uyithetha le nto ndimi kule ndawo. Ndiqala ukuyifuna le ndawo. Masingafumani ii-questions ezazibuzwe apha ngo-2008 because u-deputy chairperson usesasilapha ngo-2008, which is true, we were here. But we want to see the difference now between 2008 and 2015. We want to hear people saying, ngoga nanilapha ngela xesha kwenzeka le nale nale. Kucacile ke into kokuba incinci into eyenzekayo apha. And siyafuna ukuyi-challenge loo nto. Sithi make sure into yoba makungalungiswa iindawo zabantu abamhlophe qha. Makulungiswe neendawo zabantu bethu abantu abahluphekayo mabalungiselele nabo kule distribution yemali mayingayi kwiindawo ezimnandi mayiye kwezaa ndawo bangazithandiyo zabantu abamnyama. These people are not going to go away. They are here to stay. They must get the right distribution of money. And that money must deliver. You deliver that money to our poorest. Kubantu bethu abahlubekayo. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. Can I then call upon the Executive Mayor of the district? There was a question posed regarding IDP. With that sequence, it will be also the MEC, then lastly it will be the Deputy Minister responding.
Mine is very easy. I want to thank Brian for that information. I'm not sure whether we use the same sources, but we can have a discussion on that because at this stage we're still using Stats SA 2011 until it is updated. And we also use the local government information in the Western Cape. But it is still a draft IDP, and it will now go to the different municipalities so that they can have a look at it. The public participation process only starts now, and after that, of course, we will work through the document, and it will become our official IDP document. So thanks for that information.
Molweni. I think there were two questions that were asked with regard to human settlements. And let me be specific in answering those questions. The first question about let me first talk about the toilets. Because there are 3 stages of development. Perhaps I need to put that into context. There are 3 stages of development. You have your informal settlements, where people come in, and as government, we are required to provide rudimentary services. That is first step of services that we need to provide. And in terms of the national norm, you have to at least make sure at that stage that at least 5 families share one ablution facility. That is the national norm. That is the first level of development. And then you have the semi-informal settlements, where you find a situation where you upgrade informal settlements. And I can tell you that what we are busy with in George now, we are upgrading the level of services to 1-to-1, which means we are moving away from 1-to-5 to 1-to-1. And already, a lot of work has been done by George Municipality with regard to that. Now, with regard to Protea Park, that project has been approved already. And that project has been approved already. I'm gonna come to the point that you are asking of the money. That project has been approved already for this financial year. In fact, in George, sir, you've asked the question about the money. In George, in the next 3 years, we'll be spending about 248 million in George. In George alone. But, again, to answer this question and link it to the question about integration, you are aware that the national minister has made an announcement that in the next 5 years, we want to build 1.5 million houses. And after that announcement, we then embarked on a communication drive with all the municipalities. We are now busy with so-called catalytic projects. And George is one of the areas that has been identified where we are going to implement the catalytic projects. And we are looking at building about 15,000 housing opportunities in George. And that project is the project that will ensure that we deal with issues of integration that we have raised here. So that the issue of integration will be addressed by that particular project. And we will be spending about 248 million rands in George in the next 3 years. But the reality is here that I want to also raise as I'm sitting down is the fact that the issue of backlog when it comes to housing is an issue that is a challenge across the country. Starting from the national, provincial, and municipalities are feeling that pressure. So I hope to an extent that answers the question about integration and also about the specific project that was raised here, the Protea Park. So that project has been approved, sir. And the integration will be addressed by the project that we want to be a project that really accommodates a number of people in the region, where we're looking at providing 15,000 opportunities in the next 3 to 5 years. Thank you.
Goeiemôre. Ek werk hierdie ding. Goeiemôre. Molweni. Good morning. B2, is julle hier? Is B2 hier? Is nice na hier? Is nice na hier? Is Mosselbaai hier? Okay. Is Hessequa hier? Is Kanaland hier? Waar is Kanaland? Is Oudtshoorn hier? Aha. Is George hier? Nee. Goeiemôre, dit is wonderlik om hier te wees. Hierdie is die gees van plaaslike regering. Die regering wat naaste aan die mense is. Die regering wat omsien, moet omsien na die mees basiese behoeftes van die mense. In Suid-Afrika het ons 278 munisipaliteite. 278 munisipaliteite. Daai munisipaliteite is maar 15 jaar oud. Daai munisipaliteite is die produk van ons nuwe demokrasie. Voor 1994 het ons nie munisipaliteite vir al ons mense gehad nie. Daar was wit munisipaliteite, daar was bruin munisipaliteite, daar was swart munisipaliteite, daar was tuisland munisipaliteite, daar was dele van ons land waar daar nie eers 'n munisipaliteit was nie. So ek dink ons is baie trots op ons munisipaliteite, maar ons weet ook dat sommige van ons munisipaliteite werk baie, baie goed. Ander van ons munisipaliteite werk nie so goed nie. En dan is daar ander van ons munisipaliteite wat glad nie werk nie. Nou die uitdaging wat ons almal as 'n land het, nasionale regering, provinsiale regering, plaaslike regering, is om te verseker dat daai munisipaliteite wat nie werk nie, moet werk. Dit is wat ons noem back to basics, om seker te maak dat elke liewe munisipaliteit in hierdie land ten minste die basiese goed reg doen. Eerstens wil ons hê, elke munisipaliteit moet die mense eerste plaas. Munisipaliteite bestaan om mense te dien. Mense bestaan nie om munisipaliteite te dien nie. So elke munisipaliteit moet sy mense eerste sit. En wanneer ons sê ons moet ons mense eerste sit, bedoel ons dat ons munisipaliteite moet luister na ons mense. Hulle moet versigtig luister na ons mense en moet ons mense ernstig opneem. Dit bedoel raadslede moet gereeld, akkuraat terugvoer gee aan ons mense. Dit bedoel die persoon wat hier 'n vraag gevra het oor fasiliteite vir raadslede om terugvoer te gee. moet definitief aangespreek word, want daai raadslede moet daai fasiliteite hê om gereeld terugvoer te gee aan die mense wat hulle verkies het. Maar tweedens bedoel dit ook, wanneer ons sê dat 'n munisipaliteit sy mense eerste sit, bedoel ons hy moet al sy mense eerste sit. Hy moet wit mense en swart mense, ryk mense en arme mense eerste sit. Dit bedoel dat wanneer munisipaliteite gelde ontvang van nasionale regering, en ek wil net aanhaal wat se gelde van nasionale regering af na die Eden distrik toe kom. As jy net vir my 1 sekonde gee. Vir die huidige finansiële jaar aan Kanaland van nasionale regering R10 miljoen. Hesekwa R13.3 miljoen. Mosselbaai R23 miljoen. George R38 miljoen. Oudtshoorn R21 miljoen. Bitu R19 miljoen. Nysna R24 miljoen. Dit is die gelde wat van nasionale regering kom in die vorm van 'n municipal infrastructure grant. Daai geld is bedoel om munisipaliteite te help met waterprojekte, met sanitasieprojekte, met paaie, met vullisverwydering, met sport en ander publieke fasiliteite. Nou, as 'n nasionale regering en 'n provinsiale regering het ons 'n gesamentlike plig met plaaslike regering om seker te maak dat daai fondse bestee word. Maar dat daai fondse ook bestee word ten behoewe ook van die armste mense in ons munisipaliteite. Daai gelde moenie net gaan aan gebiede wat alreeds bevoordeel is nie. Ons gee as nasionale regering hierdie gelde vir munisipaliteite, maar dit bedoel nie dat die munisipaliteite nie hulle eie geld ook moet aanwend om hierdie fasiliteite te skep ook vir die armste onder die arme mense in ons munisipaliteite nie. So ons doen 'n beroep op munisipaliteite wanneer hulle begroot om seker te maak dat hulle begrotings en hulle geïntegreerde ontwikkelingsplanne omsien na die behoeftes van al die inwoners van ons munisipaliteite. As 'n nasionale regering verbind ons onsself daartoe om saam met die provinsie te maak om daai munisipaliteite te ondersteun administratief en tegnies om seker te maak dat daai gelde wel aangewend word. Tweedens wil ek net 'n bietjie wat ons praat oor back to basics is om te sê dat daar 'n basiese pakket van dienste is wat in elke munisipaliteit konsekwent gelewer moet word. Waar die gras gesny moet word, moet gras gesny word. Waar ligte moet ligte brand. Waar strate skoon moet wees, moet strate skoon wees. En ons werk baie hard om te verseker dat al ons munisipaliteite dit doen. Derdens sê ons dat daar goeie finansiële administrasie in ons munisipaliteite moet wees. Want die geld wat munisipaliteite mee werk, is nie regering se geld nie. Daar's nie 'n boom daar waar 'n mens regeringsgeld pluk nie. Daar's nie 'n drukpers waar 'n mens regeringsgeld druk nie. Die geld wat munisipaliteite mee werk is die mense se geld. Dit is die geld wat van julle afkom wanneer julle belasting betaal. Vierdens sê ons dat daar goeie administrasie in ons munisipaliteite moet wees. Wat bedoel ons daarby? Daar moet stelsels wees, daai stelsels moet sterk wees, daai stelsels moet werk, maar ook sê ons daar moenie politieke inmenging in die administrasie wees nie. Ons wil raadslede hê wat hulle werk doen, wat oorsig hou oor die administrasie, raadslede wat hands-on is, maar nie hands-in nie. Hands-on, not hands-in. Laastens wil ons sterk munisipale instellings bou. Dit bedoel ons moet die regte mense, met die regte kwalifikasies, die regte ervaring, in die regte plekke hê. So dit is die 5 pilare van Back to Basics. Ek wil net laastens sê, daar's vrae geopper oor Oudtshoorn en oor die burgemeester. Ek wil nie praat oor individue nie. Wat ek wil sê is, dat minister Pravin Gordhan 'n maand gelede Oudtshoorn toe gekom het. Ek self was verlede week hier, ek was voorverlede week hier. Ons dra kennis van daai probleme en ek wil net vir julle voorlees uit 'n brief wat minister Gordhan aan die munisipaliteit, aan die burgemeester geskryf het. Die brief lees as volg: Dear Honourable Mayor, Oudtshoorn Municipality Support and Good Governance Package in terms of Section 154 of the Constitution. You will recall that during my visit of 20 February 2015, I engaged various stakeholders, ranging from residents, political parties, business and community leaders, the Audit Committee Chairperson, councillors, Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Acting Municipal Manager. There was general consensus regarding the nature and extent of challenges facing Oudtshoorn Municipality, which range from political and administrative instability, non-functional council structures, irregular acting appointments in senior positions, water pollution and refuse removal and general breakdown in delivery of services to communities, irregular appointment of service providers and procurement processes, poor communication with communities, Eskom debt and decline of the tourism industry, and racial polarization in the municipality and communities of Oudtshoorn. Dit is wat ons gesê het, is wat die mense van Oudtshoorn vir ons gesê het, toe ons kom besoek het. So wat het minister Gordhan gesê? I undertook during my visit to develop a support and good governance package in terms of Section 154 of the Constitution that is aimed at addressing these challenges and bringing the municipality to normality by conducting forensic investigations, accelerating delivery of services, and building the confidence and trust of the people. This package is attached hereto as Annexure A. We request that you ensure, as a matter of urgency, that the support and good governance package be placed before Council for approval at the next available Council meeting. Hierdie pakket is voor die Raad geplaas, maar dit is nie op die agenda geplaas in die manier wat die meerderheidsraadslede wou hê nie. Toe stort die vergadering in duie, daar was nie 'n quorum nie. So ek wil net sê aan die mense van Oudtshoorn, as nasionale regering het ons gestand gedoen aan ons woord. Ons was hier, ons het geluister na julle, ons het teruggegaan, ons het 'n ondersteuningspakket uitgewerk. Daai pakket is op die oomblik voor die raad. En ek dink julle moet ook vir die raadslede sê, julle as die gemeenskap wil hê dat hierdie pakket moet dien op 'n raadsvergadering, dit moet aanvaar word sodat ons as nasionale regering tesame met die provinsie kan kom en die munisipaliteit help om hierdie probleme op te los. Baie dankie.
This is indeed a government for the people, by the people. We are going to have the second round of questions or inputs. In that order of sequence, may I afford our residents an opportunity to ask questions? Yes, Dad.
Oh, ndiyalibulisa ndingumlungisi wakafungile eMosselbaai.
I am Lungisi Fungile from Municipality.
Ndilisizi ba kuthiwa umasipala wethu ba-good.
I am sad when I hear that our municipalities are very good.
Owethu eMosselbaai uferishile.
Ours in Municipal failed.
Ngoba first number one lonke ihlabathi belibonile uMzantsi Afrika lo besitoyitoya eMosselbaai sitoyitoya lamanzi.
I'm sure the nation have seen that we've been toying in Municipal for water.
Umnqa wami kulamanzi utyala kule nyanga i500 xa uzayo kunyanga ezayo kuthiwa utyala 2500.
To my surprise, 1 month you will owe 500, the next month you will owe more than 1,000 rands.
Umzekelo mna andithethi ngomnye umuntu nomnye utata onatsika omdala kuthiwa utyala 4,000 rand.
For example, there is somebody who is very old, an old man who is owing a lot of money, about 700 rands.
Imbanga loo nto leyo yaseMosselbaai.
Can I make a humble request? Our audience, please, please. Okay, just hold on, Tata, just hold on. Can I make a humble request? Every resident has got the right to ask and participate in this meeting, and would ensure that everyone is equally protected. Can we give a resident an opportunity? You may proceed in that.
Ndithi eMosselbaai si abantu kuthiwa banatsika batyala ama 4,000 rand, abanye kuthiwa ndothukile, abanye kuthiwa unatsika utyala 19,000 amanzini. Ufuma lo government unatsika lo masipala wethu ulikoki eMosselbaai.
In Municipal, most people are owing about 4,000 rands, and I was surprised when I heard that most people are even owing about 19,000 rands. People are telling lies there in Municipal.
Ngoku besikade hlala nabo i-meeting ngoba besitoyitoya bangathi kunatse kuze ugovernment wethu baqoka ngoba ngathi bayathetha nathi abasathethi nathi bayabaleka.
We used to have meetings with them, but when we have the government with us, then they will tell you this story. But when the government is no longer with us, they will tell a different story.
Ngifuna nisixelele abahlali ngaphambili. Kula executive kamasipala yaseMosselbaai. Why inatsika i-executive emhlophe? Kunatsika kuthathwe so-called abantu ababini, so-called colored. Abantu natsika kodwa inatsika yonke executive, white people.
If you look at the executive there in Municipal, you'll find out that most people there are white people. There are only 2 people that are so-called colored.
Ndiyacela ugovernment wethu makahambe ehle ayojonga la natsika elasikizile phaa eMosselbaai. Otherwise ngenye imini bazawufika kuthiwa sidutyulwe sonke eMosselbaai.
I plead the government to go and visit that area of Municipal and go and check exactly what is going on, because one day you will find us being fired by those people.
Thank you, thank you. Can you get the next question?
1, 2. My name is Ishmael from Municipality.
Ishmael who? Can you give us your name and surname, please?
Ishmael Letuko from Municipality.
Okay.
What National is doing is very good, but it is only depending this money, which port is going to. Mangtete lumilabo ke. Wat gebeur in Municipality, die gelde kom na Municipality toe. Maar bij Municipality je krijgt die meeste mensen wat miljoen project doen, is net de Hendra, die company that owned by the child of mayor in Municipality. That we call it Hendra. And another company that so-called Transant is doing millions. Black and colored people, they put us in level. Black people are only cleaning the street, and that's all. And white people, they are only painting the a small job till 50,000. But when you go to millions, it's only white people, no black person. Another point, I have a document here to give. On behalf of a housing, I have an old man here that is, he have the same age as Mandela. We built him a house. I even drive to Cape Town at a provincial parliament. They never respond. I faxed the document 2 times. Till now, here is still document I still have. That old man is here today. The second point.
That was the second point with due respect. That was the second point. We have agreed that would afford each and every one only 2 maximum questions.
The last one, sir, please.
Please, can I make a request? In case you have further inputs, just do it in writing. We have officials from NCOP who would humbly approach you and get that particular question if you have further questions. Can you get the next person, please? But the document would accept or appreciate if you send it over through to us also. Can you get the third question? The third person, please.
Baie dankie, Chair. My naam is Jan Griebelaar, ek is van Oudtshoorn. Ek wil net aan die Deputy Minister van Plaaslike Regering vra, na die tussenverkiesing van 7 Augustus in 2013.
I just want to ask a question about the elections in 2013.
Het die DA die tussenverkiesings gewen en was veronderstel om aan bewind te wees?
The DA won the elections.
En hulle was veronderstel om aan bewind te wees, maar ek sou graag wil weet, hoekom is die ANC wat die verkiesing demokraties verloor het, nog steeds aan bewind?
And what I would want to pose to you is why the ANC, who did not win the election, why they are still ruling.
As ons gaan kyk na die geskiedenis vanaf 2013 tot 2014, het die ANC en sy vennote nog elke hofsaak tot binne die konstitusionele hof verloor.
If we take a look at events from 2013 to 2015, the ANC has lost all their cases in the Constitutional Court.
Die minister het nog gesê, hulle het 'n pakket saamgestel wat nie gedien het nie, so ek aanvaar dis alweer vertragingstegniek, sodat die dinge maar net weer kan aangaan. Baie dankie.
I suppose it's just another technique used to postpone things.
Can I interrupt? We have humbly made a request that let's pose questions on the basis of panelists that are here, so that we address bread and butter issues that are affecting our communities. Let me remind you, we might be sitting here with people who slept without food, who came here with hope. Can I make a humble request that we deal specifically with bread and butter issues that are affecting our communities? Please. Next question.
Okay. Okay. Ndingubuyiswa Stearman walapha eOudtshoorn eBongolethu.
I'm Buyiswa Stearman from Bongolethu here in Oudtshoorn.
Nandinengxaki yendlu.
I've got a problem with housing.
Indlu yami kwakutsho kum izokwakhiwa ngo-2009.
I was told my house will be built in 2009.
Ndiye ndahamba ndinyuka ndisihla kunetha kubanda.
I have to move up and down with this problem, even if it's raining or what.
Ndihamba ngale wheelchair yam.
Using my own wheelchair.
Ndicela abantu bandityhale.
Asking people to push me.
But still, iplot yam ise open eBongolethu.
But my plot in Bongolethu, it's still open even now.
Zingaphi ilokishi ezokhiweyo eBongolethu, but iBongolethu yona isame ngci akukakakhiwa nokwakhiwa.
How many locations have been built in Bongolethu, but Bongolethu is still not moving forward. It's still the same old story.
But ke ngoku ingxaki into yokubana ndiyile phaya kwa-housing ndimane ndisiya bathi kum indlu yam izokwakhiwa bathe kum kwakhiwa kulo nyaka kupheleyo ayakhiwa ndaya nakulo nyaka kwathiwa kum kulo nyaka iza kwakhiwa bathi kum andifumane umntu ozandiplanela kuba ndi-disabled.
In 2014, I did go to municipality to ask about this problem of housing. Even this year, in 2015, I did go there, but I was told to bring the plot because I'm disabled so that they can help me.
But ekuhambeni kwexesha baye bathi kum uba banayo umntu ozandiplanela indlu phayana.
But in the long run, I was told that there is nobody who can help me with the building plan.
But ke ngoku ndiye ndaphinda ndabuyela kwakhona kwamasipala bathi kum bazandakhela indlu kwezi zindlu zokhiwayo ngoku.
But now when I had to go back to municipality, I was told that they will help me to build this house.
But ezi zindlu ndiyile ndayozijonga ndasifumanekisa into yoba ezi zindlu azikho mgangathweni for lo mntu odisabled.
But when I went to check these houses, I've managed to see that these houses are not suitable for the disabled.
But ke babethe kum indlu yam funeka ibe ngu-42 square meter.
I was told that my house is supposed to be 42 square meter.
But ezi zokhiweyo I don't think bazingu-42 square meter ne.
But with the houses that they are building now, I don't think they fit the 42 square meter.
Enye into ke ndine problem ye-transport apha e-Oudtshoorn for labantu aba-disabled.
The other problem that we are encountering here in Oudtshoorn is that the transport is not safe for the disabled.
For xana sisiya kwikliniki nasiya esibhedlele azikho i-transport sima etyhwini ixesha elide.
When we visit or go to the clinics or hospitals, we have to stand in the long queues because we are not catered for.
Enye ingxaki into bethe sicela into yokuba apha e-Oudtshoorn nakutheni udial arright angabikho nje. Okanye kubekho i-transport ezizobakho for labantu aba-disabled.
Our question is that in other areas there is a dial to ride transport, but we're asking why is that service not provided here in Oudtshoorn?
Okay, like we've indicated, other questions that are relevant to other sessions that will be coming. We'll duly refer these questions to those sessions. Can I then get the last person to pose a question?
Meneer, my probleem is ek het nie elektries met op my naam en my panel. Jafta Pieterse. My grote probleem is ek het nie elektrisiteit in my huisie meneer. Ek sukkel nou al meer as 3 jaar om my elektrisiteit oop te kry. En my deur is ook stukkend. Ek soek my en ek het nie goeie ruimte in my huis nie. Dis my probleem wat ek wil sê.
I am Jafta Peterson. I am suffering for the past years. My doors and windows of my house are all broken.
Can we get an indication, Papa? Which area are you from?
I am at the grey area at Bongoletu Township here at Oudtshoorn.
Oudtshoorn, thank you. Can I then ask our panelists to come and respond? Can I start with the Executive Mayor? If there's anything from our side, then the MEC, then the Deputy Ministers will be the last to come. Okay, MEC.
Thank you very much. I think there are two questions that are relevant to me. Let me be specific again in answering these questions. Ishmael from Municipality about a house for an old man. Again, it is not true, sir, that the government has not done anything about this. Let us put that on record. I personally visited that house. I have been interacting with a lady from Municipality, Uboniswa, who went and showed me the house. Now, that house was never built by government. Again, let me also put that on record. That house was part of a social responsibility program that was built by a private sector. But some of the people did not honor their commitments. But what we are doing now through the intervention of that lady who raised this issue with us, we have approved the completion of that house. Because it is a very big house, it's more than a normal 42 square meter house. And we have engaged the municipality, and the municipality has agreed through its allocation to complete that house. So there is a specific answer to that question. Now, on the issue of a disabled person who raised an issue, Pongolethu, I had a meeting with Umaspala this morning about the challenges in Pongolethu. What I'm going to do, again, this is not an empty promise. I am going to take the details of the lady, because this is precisely what we are saying as Department of Human Settlements, to say that people who must be prioritized are elderly people, are disabled people, child-headed households, etc. That is what we want to see as Department of Human Settlements. We have approved few houses in Pongolethu, as per the engagement that I had with the municipality this morning. And I would want to make sure that people like you, Sisi, are prioritized when we start to build a Pongolethu, because we have approved already a couple of houses that must be built there. So I would want to take your details before I leave here, so that we can make sure that we are part of the people who are going to benefit when we build a Pongolethu. On the issue of the current houses that are being built there, of course we make sure as a department that building plans of all the people who are disabled meet certain requirements. And we'll make sure that the house is designed in such a way that it is suitable for you. So we will make sure of that. So the officials are here. We'll take your details and make sure that we link up with the municipality, so that you become part of the people that that we are going to build the houses for now there. Thank you very much. These were two questions that were directed to me.
I think most questions were around human settlement and municipality. But I just want to raise one issue that, thank you, Program Director, for assisting us. We don't want to turn this forum to be a political forum. Because once we say, why is the ANC still ruling, we will say it's because we got more votes, and it ends there. So we don't want to turn this into political. Our interest is service delivery. And all of us, even the opposition parties, the ANC, all of us, we want to make sure that there is service delivery. I also want to correct the issue raised by the one member of people that were asking questions. The Deputy Minister of Kokda did not say Mossel Bay is good. He said, I also said so, ezinye omasipala abenzi kakuhle. Abanye kaloku asizode sithi nabenza kakuhle sibafake kwi-one blanket. Abangenzi kakuhle sithi abanye benza kakuhle, abanye abenzi kakuhle. The other issue endicela ukuphinda ndiyiphakamise kubantu basekhaya ngendaba yale toyitoyi benithetha ngayo phaya eMossel Bay. Siyayazi bantu bakuthi intoba the reason why you toy akukho mnandi ukutoyitoya, uva inhlungu. Kodwa ke kuyo yonke imizamo eniyenzayo for uba nimanyelwe, akukho nto imbi njengowutshisa into osowunayo okanye udestroye what you have. We want to say to you, much as you toy here in the Western Cape, in fact in all provinces, make sure that we don't destroy what we have, because there is budget involved. So by doing that, you're taking the reverse gear. You're not going forward. We want to make sure that every corner of our people, we know that everyone has here an issue, and all people that are here, they might have their personal issues, but we want to say to you, in some areas, government is going to do the work, and not everyone or not every area we have reached. We know that in some areas we still have difficulties, and we are saying we will come, but our pace maybe must be faster. It must not be slow. That's what we are doing. Ndifuna ukugqibelisa ngelithi uyabona ke mna ke ndimi apha ndimele urhulumente wenational ne-NCOP indithumile into kokuba ndingathethi izinto ezizaba zezomqala wam, ndithethe izinto zika-government. Le yokokuba abantu apha, because esi sikhalo sininji and asikho mnandi, esi soba abantu babhatala high bills kwindawo abahlala kuzo. I think uDeputy Minister weCogta will answer to that, because what we've discovered, us as water and sanitation, that people that are staying around dams don't benefit, especially the black people, don't benefit to those dams. And we want to make sure that all people that are staying around the dams must benefit for those dams. And we will do that. We will make sure that all people that are staying around dams benefit from those dams. Thank you very much.
Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much. Net eerstens die vraag van Ismail van Mosselbaai rondom die projekte. Ek dink dit is ietsie wat ons definitief na sal kan kyk. Ons sal dit baie waardeer as u vir ons verdere besonderhede rondom daai aantuigings kan gee. Dit is definitief nie hoe dinge veronderstel is om te werk nie. En dit gaan absoluut teen die grein van daai benadering, daai back to basics benadering wat ons van praat. Die geld wat bewillig word vir openbare projekte is geld wat verantwoordelik aangewend moet word. Dit moet aangewend word deur openlik deursigtige verantwoordelike prosesse om seker te maak dat alle mense binne 'n gemeenskap baat kan vind deur daai projekte, beide die uitvoering van daai projekte, sowel as die geniet van die resultaat van daai projekte. Ons moet werklik verseker dat in die manier wat ons begroot en beplan en uitvoering gee aan projekte, dat ons daai hulpbronne gebruik om die verlede te oorbrug. Ons moet seker maak dat ons wegstap van die ons en die hulle, van daai mense en ons mense. Ons moet seker maak dat daar nie 'n munisipaliteit in ons land is waar mense aan die verkeerde kant van hulle self aan die verkeerde kant van die N2 bevind nie. So ons neem dit baie ernstig op. Tweedens, die kwessie, the issue raised by Ms. Stuurman from Bongoleto in Oudtshoorn, please could you furnish us with your contact details? We have officials here from the Municipal Infrastructure Support Agency. We would like to talk to you because the plight of those members of our community who have disabilities must be put absolutely as an absolute priority. So that we would like to help with that. Lastens, Die vraag wat deur Johan van Oudtshoorn geopper is rondom die tussenverkiesing in 2013. Ek wil net die volgende sê. Ons is vandag hier as nasionale regering. Ek is hier vandag as 'n adjunct minister van nasionale regering. Ek is 'n trotse lid van die ANC, daar is trotse lede van die DA hier, maar vandag is ons almal hier as regering. So ek wil nie betrokke raak in 'n partypolitieke gesprek nie. Al wat ek kan sê is dat ons verbind onsself nougeset tot die bepalings van die wet en die grondwet. Dit is al wat ek wil sê. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. Can I make this announcement? Members that are going for site visit are requested to meet at 12:30 at the dining hall. The following members, could you please ensure 12:30 you converge at the dining hall? Honorable Sefako is the leader of delegation. The co-leader is Wana Mewana. Honorable Matebos, Honorable Smith, Honorable Lecker, Honorable Makeleni, Honorable Willie, Honorable Lentit, and Honorable Shafa. The other group that is expected to join is under the leadership of Honorable Kaula, co-leadership of Honorable Khai, Honorable Motara, Honorable Mpambo, Honorable Christian, Honorable Olifir, Honorable Hopi, Honorable Bier Venkel, Honorable Bota, Honorable Kivero, and Honorable Mackenzie are requested to converge at 12:30 at the dining hall for site visit. We are going to afford my co-program director an opportunity to engage with further questions of clarities and inputs. Thank you.
All right. Yes, we are going to take the next session of questions, but I want to put my utmost clarity and add my voice to the question that has been addressed by the Deputy Minister Nel. That the standing committee was here. Now, you will remember, Honorable Kyanji, you were here in Oudtshoorn to listen as a standing committee on the issues regarding governance here. But the Minister Pravin Gordhan was also here to listen and engage on governance issues. And political parties are engaging, but also the provincial parliament and the minister, Anton Bridel, is heavily engaged in trying to resolve whatever the issues are in Oudtshoorn. So today's session is, and of course, must be a session that brings people of Eden and Oudtshoorn and all of us together as one people, dealing with the issues of service delivery in this area. And that is what the program talked to. So I'm going to appeal that at least we become patient with the processes and systems as we go forward. Not that the issues that have been raised are not important, but the timing nor the place is not for such matters as have been raised. I hope that you are clear that nobody is going to stand up and ask again why this one is in charge and this one is not in charge. So I'm hoping that, because nobody is going to answer that question here. Because when you ask a question, there must be a question, there must be a person to answer the question that has been asked. I hope that is clear. Umbuzo landelayo, next question. What now?
Ndingumama Agnes Mhlahlo oseMossel Bay. Umama lo waqala icrèche ngo1994 eMossel Bay ngokuqokelela abantwana eThafeni. Andinangxaki naleyo. Kodwa kuthe njengoba ndijikeleza ndabona amaxhego ahlala ematyotyombeni akukho mbane neetoilet zeziya ziphinda zibuthwe ngemigqomo
I'm Agnes Mhlahlo from Mossel Bay. The person who is busy collecting the children who are roaming around. But the main thing that I'm doing now is that I've seen that there are old people who have no places to stay or who are roaming around. Then I'm busy with that project for now.
I'm sorry, better I speak myself. It's not busy now. After starting a crash, I just looked to the old people. I said, what kind of life will they say? So I went to Cape Town, 27 Wales Street. I just went there, and the minister then, that is 2000, was Minister Fransman. So I explained to Mr. Fransman why I'm here. So they organized a meeting for me. So I said, I don't want to say that. The people must stay in houses. I started that project in 2000. Lucky enough, about the crash I've won, there's people from this paper, Clarence, fair lady. They came, they asked me, how did you open the crash? How did you start? I explained. So they sent me to Johannesburg. They said, your ticket on the 25th of September, you will be going to Johannesburg by air, by the aeroplane. On the 26th, you will be coming back. So I went there. It was me and a woman from Natal, a white woman, and another one from Cape Town, a white woman. So the people there were coming from overseas. They said, white people know nothing about poverty. I must speak. So I stood up and explained what. I've won for a crash, 85,000. When I came to Cape Town, I bought myself a venture. So now when I started this house project, I thought, no, I can't go to Cape Town alone. I must take my committee with me. They will also learn from this. So I did. When we went there, Fransman is there. Now I'm coming to the point. My project, I started 2000. It was approved 2004. They gave me 330 subsidies, meaning 330 houses. So I took a man called Kama from Cape Town because I thought, well, this project must help the black people. I come with this man because they had tenders in Cape Town building. We collected the 330 people who were going in meetings.
Let me remind people.
Now I'm coming to that.
Let
me shorten. The project was stolen by the municipality of Mossel Bay. They gave it to Tubelicha. So when people told me, Tubelicha is building your project, I went to Cape Town. Now Fransman was no more there. Minister Matigizela was there.
Yes.
I reported to him. So he found, and by phoning, he's stopping Tubelicha. Now I've got a letter with me here.
Okay. Uzawuza nayo letter uyithathe mami letter kulo mic ne?
Saying.
Siyayifuna umphathiswa.
Yes, you must thank us. Because here they wrote 36,000. 36,000, Fransman knows, is from the first man I did take with Kama.
All right, Engosi kakhulu. Thank you very much.
249.
Thank you. I will stop there. The next person. Thank you.
My name is Nomonde Zondi
Pitoman Spala Plat.
from Plettenberg Bay.
Isikhalazo sami sesendlu yami esemanzini engenamanzi ngaphakathi nangaphandle nechachamba indonga ngoku.
The problem that I have is that my house is in the mud and there is water inside and outside my house.
Endingazi ukuba i-surveyors zapha ngoku kwakusakhiwa zaziphi na ngumbuzo endiwubuza qho kamasipala lowo.
The question that comes to my mind is that where were the surveyors when the house were built?
Abakwazi ukundiphendula ke. Into eyenzekayo ngoku kudala ndihambela le nto alendlu from 96 tot ngoku.
I have been to and fro trying to address the issue of the problem of my house from 1996 up until today.
Andiyazi ba ke kudala kusakhiwa izindlu peplet ndingade mna ndirelocatwe okanye ndakhelwe indlu ngoba kudala kusithiwa ndizawurelocate okanye ndakhelwe indlu. Kudala nilindile andazi bangabatheni aba bafakwa kwezo zindlu ke bazikhona izindlu ezachithwayo zakhiwa mna ndisalindile.
I am still waiting because many housing projects have come and gone and my problem has not been addressed up until now.
Enkosi ke.
Andikagqibi mhlekazi.
Gqibezela ke ma.
Ndinombuzo wesibini kaloku andinayo asengowokuqala lo.
Ngena ke kulo wesibini ke ma.
Into eyenzekayo ke ngoku kukho nomfula phaa emveni kwam.
There is also a
Umfula
river.
ohamba uthi xa ugcweleyo kwezi flood ezi ubaleka laa mfula uzongena apha endlini nam.
When there are floods, that impacts even in my house.
Endabuza nakwi-engineers zaphaa kwamasipala uba kutheni bangawuvali laa mfula bathi akho budget.
I even asked the engineers from the municipality to come and rescue the situation, but they said they don't have a budget.
Andiyazi uba ke kode kube nini na.
So I don't know where I can get the answers for this
Because
problem.
umeya wam okhoyo ngoku uye wathi imali ikhona imali ibisandufumaneka ngoku kule 3 weeks idlulileyo. So andiyazi noba indlu yami izaba phakathi kolo luhlu lwaloo mali kuba kudala bendidlala u-hide and seek.
The mayor has said that there is a budget that has been allocated in the last 3 weeks. Therefore, I'm not sure whether I am going to benefit from the budget or not.
All right, enkosi ke olandelayo umbuzo. Next question. There is no more inputs now. It seems they are tired. Okay.
My
All
name-
right. Okay.
My name is Fiso Mzimela, coming from George, Witness Height, ERF 329. I'm going to start with the problem with municipality. The first main problem there is politics. Everything is going through politics because what is going on, if you are not a member of that party that is ruling the municipality, you are not getting well served. In such a way that even work opportunities.
Teta tata ulwimi lwakho noba loluphi. They must translate. Translators, please. Not othetha isilungu, othetha isiXhosa, translated utata pa, please.
Okay.
We want to hear what he wants to say.
Okay. Ngingusifiso Mzimela.
Yeah.
Ngisuka eGeorge, eWilderness Height, informal settlement.
I'm Fiso Mzimela from George in
Wilderness Height.
in Wilderness Heights, informal settlement.
Ek is Fiso Mzimela from George in Wilderness Heights, informele nederzetting.
I'm here
Uyayibhotya ngoku nawe ngoku. Yini sikuncedisa?
ngilapha ngimele ikomiti engisebenza kunye nalo.
I am here to represent my committee.
Ek is hier om my komitee te verteenwoordig.
Ingxaki esinayo pha kumasipala izinto zenzeka through ipolitiki.
The problem that we have in that particular municipality is that things are being politicized.
Die probleem wat ons in daardie munisipaliteit het is dat dinge politiseer word, verpolitiseer word.
Ngoba mina ngokuqonda kwami umasipala ufana neparlament.
In my knowledge, a municipality is more like parliament.
Na my wete is 'n munisipaliteit meer soos die parlement.
Ekuthenini lingayo wonke umuntu ukuthi waliphi iqembu akuthethi into.
A municipality should not be biased.
'n Munisipaliteit behoort nie vooroordeel te hê nie.
Ngoba masiqhuba ngolo hlobo if sekuya kwi-point ye-service delivery, service delivery yadelaya and kuba khona futhi i-confusion for kubahlali.
If a municipality is biased politically, therefore there is no service delivery and the people suffer on the ground.
Indien die munisipaliteit polities bevooroordelend is daar nie dienslewering nie en daarom lei die mense op voedselvlak.
Bese ngizobuya kwi-point ye melana nokuhlala ekuhlaleni lapho esihlala khona. Umasipala akavumeli abantu bakhe izindlu more. Uthi lezi izindlu ezikhona pha abangabe sazakhe ezinye. Kodwa ingxaki esidibana nayo imndeni iyakhula. Bathi bona kungcono si-extend.
The other problem is that the municipality doesn't allow us space to build other houses.
Die ander probleem wat ons het is dat die munisipaliteit nie vir ons ruimte gee om ander huise te bou nie.
Umndeni una more than 5 members. Kodwa kuthiwa labo bantu abahlali endlini e1 room.
Enkosi kakhulu masibambe tata. Ukwenzela into yoba nabanye babe ne-chance zama ukugqibezela nje yaqonda, so that we can give other commentators an opportunity.
Let us then be short and allow other people an opportunity to speak.
Het is kort en bondig wees en vir ander mense geleentheid gee om ook hulle insette te
May
lewer.
I just ask, we now have only 20 minutes left for this session. Yeah, no, they konda wena. Ingxaki esinayo ke ngoyinto bana we cannot have everybody that is on the queue there speaking on this particular item. However, on the many other items, you have the opportunity to speak. That is why I was asking, including my co-chair here, that we must ask you to have limited number of questions. But we've been asking you to do that. So the next set of questions will only be accommodated in this next 20 minutes. So I'm going to ask you to give me your questions, and then the ministers must respond, the panelists here. And I'm sure by the time they finish, we won't have much time to carry on with the next list on the queue. So the next session will deal with this even further. So ningakyafi bantu bakuthi nesiyavana? Yeah, it's only mna uzawusuka apha, otherwise awuqhubeka isession. And then afterwards it's lunch. Do you want to eat? Okay, I'm hungry. Okay. Next question. Okay. Next question, please.
Enkosi mhlali ngaphambili.
Thank you, Chair.
Baie dankie voorsitter.
Nekomiti yakho. Ndiyabulela ukulifumana eli thuba loba mandizowuthetha kule parliament. Igama lam nguCatwell. NgokwaMangonyana. Ndilapha e-Oudtshoorn.
Uzawukhonjiswa into eyenziwa ngumasipala.
Ngombothethayo ngoku.
Okay, sorry.
Thina ke sayihluthwa inhlaka seyisemlonyeni. Yathathwa nikwa abanye abantu.
What's wrong now?
Uxolo tata siphazamiseke ngoku ngexesha ubuqala uthetha. Kuse kwathetha abantu ababini, ngoku inhlaka sayozama uyitolika nayo. Ngoku mabakuva abatata batolikayo nizama inhlaka mhlekazi.
Sayihluthwa inhlaka seyisemlonyeni umasipala.
The government of the day took what was due to us.
Die regering van die dag het dit
Utata
wat goed is na ons gebring.
Gutatu bani? Your name, please. And where you come from?
Die naam asseblief en waar jy vandaan kom.
Dalasile.
My name is M. Dalasile.
My naam is M. Galasile.
Sayihluthwa yonje inhlaka. Zange. Kuthixo amazulu.
Hayi thetha ngwevyama kongxaki. Mame. Sifuna uva intlaka uba yeyiphi le yadutywayo.
Zeke nisincede abantu bakuthi. Kule nyanga kuthiwe nansi indlu yakho.
We are therefore asking to have houses to be allocated to us.
Vra dus dat die huis aan ons toegewys word.
Dafika ngo-91.
I arrived here in Mossel Bay in 1991.
Ek het in 1991 in Mosselbaai aangekom.
Akukho nomda owenziwayo.
Not even a space for land was allocated to me.
Abantu abafike
As is 'n
emveni
ruimteverwysing
kwam
vir my gegee.
bahlala ezindlini zabo zigolile.
The people who came to dwell after me have been allocated houses.
Mense wat na my daar aangekom het, is daar klaar huise gegee.
Akurayithanga madoda. Ube nabantu bakho uphethe abantu.
It is not correct.
Yiba nabantu bonke. Ungakhethi.
As a municipality, you must cater for the whole community.
Dit is nie reg nie, as 'n munisipaliteit moet jy sorg vir die hele gemeenskap.
Enkosi ke tata. Umphathiswa uMadikizela ubambile lo mbuzo wezindlu. Noko tata xa bebangaka umuntu engakabanamzi. Mphathiswa? Kawusincede. The last question, that would be the last before lunch. Then others can wait until after lunchtime. My panelists, it will be your opportunity to respond in the order from Matigizela, and then in that order. All right, the last question or input.
Oh,
And then Baumuape will take over here.
mna ndinguKeswell Mangonyana.
My name is Keswell Mangonyana.
Ndiyinzalelwana yalapha eThorweni.
I was born and bred here in Oudtshoorn.
Siye safuduswa ngapha nangapha ngabantu bokucalucaluka.
The apartheid government was evicting us from places to places.
Sade ke ngoku
Van plek tot plek.
sade sazofikelela apha eBhongo lethu.
Up until we came to stay here in Bongolwetu.
Abazali bethu babengenamali yokwakha izindlu zezitena.
Our parents at that time did not have funds to build houses
Ngoba umsebenzi wawungekho ngoko toti nangoku awukabikho.
because there were no job opportunities at that time, even today.
Indlu yasekhaya ke yayakhiwe ngodaka.
Our house was built on mud.
Yaba nethuba ke iOudtshoorn manditsho ngokupheleleyo iBhongo lethu ina 49 years imile pha.
Let me put it that Bongolwetu has been in existence
49.
for 49 years.
So akuzange kuphinde kwakhiwe izindlu apha. Mna ndinendlu eapprove 1993.
My house was built in 1993.
Hayi iapprove
Was approved in 1993.
Kodwa kude kube ngoku ayikokhiwa le ndlu.
But even today, that house has not been built.
2013 bendikhale kumama uKota Frederick.
In 2013, I therefore went to the Deputy Minister, Kota Frederick.
Babelapha eThorweni.
They were here in Oudtshoorn.
Wazithatha iinkcukacha zam kusathe cwaka nangoku.
She took my details, but up until now, I haven't had any response.
So ndisenazo ezinye iinkcukacha ndonqena nje uba mandizinikezele akuzuvela mpendulo.
I do also have other details, but I don't want to hand them over because I won't get any response.
Apha siphethwe kabuhlungu
Kutheni ubuza umbuzo ke?
Hayi, ndiyayazi uba zizawunikezela batshilo ukuba ndizazinikezela.
Kaloku apha sizomamela nina ngwethu.
Okay sir.
Ngo ndifuna ukucela xeko lam ba xa ubuza umbuzo ubuza ukhululeke kangoba into nayo apho noba ipisana nje yesibhilivana sizawuza apha kumphathiswa ukwenzela bakuphendule ngqo. Ubalekile njembulapha nje, you are the most important people here. The ones that were here to see and talk to yourselves. So ndicela ke ukhululeke ubuze sewuyigqibezela ke lo mbuzo wakho ukwenzela baphendule ngoku asinaxesha.
Right. Now ke ngoku ndine mibuzo mibini.
I've got 2 questions.
The last one.
Umasipala ke ngoku akade eze izindlu zakhiwa ngapha kwethu apha kwabebala. Abezi eBhongo lethu.
The municipality did not come to look at the issue of Bongolwetu, but in the surrounding areas, we see houses being built.
Ndiyabeva bethetha nge-reinforcement. I-reinforcement into yalonyaka uphelileyo.
I hear them talking about refrancement, but refrancement is new to us.
Thina sikenzelwa nto ngumasipala.
Nothing has been done on our behalf by the municipality.
Sekunayo umasipala umane thembi
Enkosi.
thembi.
Diyabulela.
Okwesibini ke.
No, enkosi kakhulu.
Hayi okwesibini.
Thank you. That was the last one.
No, sir, I
No,
was.
I'm in charge here for now. Ndimopetheyo ngoku.
Because I'm better sitting.
Yeah, ndithi ngoku siyayeka wakho umbuzo sigqibile ngawe ngoku ulandelayo uzawubuza emva kwelunch. Ngoku ndizawucela ii-panelists ziphendule imibuzo. I will now ask the panelists to respond to questions. So we must just listen on the responses because many questions have been raised. And thank you very much for being a good audience. Thank you. Diyabulela.
Thank you very much, Co-Program Director. Just few announcements. There's capturing that is taking place as and when people respond or pose questions. So we are humbly making a request that we try and minimize our movements in front of cameras. Then 2, while the panelists will be responding, can we also ask either Advocate Pindela or the assigned official to come and make announcements for lunch? If you look at the queue itself, it is very clear that Eden District communities have got a number of challenges. And we want to make it clear, it's not out of only the session where we'll be saying it's daily done. We still have committees that will still have to come and visit through the oversight that is expected or entrenched in terms of the provisions of the law. So we are going to afford the panelists, starting with the MEC. I'm not sure, Executive Mayor, anything from your side? The MEC will be responding. Lastly, would also ask to get an indication of the box or the place, Honorable Chief Whip, where submissions or written submissions can be made. If you can just be indicated on my far right, there are officials from NCOP. In case you have any written submission, we are just appealing. Just approach the desk over there, and anything that is being raised here, bear it in your mind, is being captured. Be it a response or a question, we are ensuring that it's captured. Honorable MC, over to you.
Thank you very much. Molweni kwakhona. Mandiqale kuMama uMhlahlo. In fact, I've lost count into ba sendibane kangaphi noMama uMhlahlo, into ba kugqithile kumatyela leshumi.
I've met Ms. Mhlahlo more than 10 times.
Ek het meer as 10 keer al met Mslahlo vergader.
Sicaciselana apho engaqondi khona.
I have been able to explain to her where there is an issue that she doesn't understand.
Ek kon aan haar verduidelik waar daar 'n kwessie is wat sy nie verstaan nie.
But kungatshona ilanga xa nozama ukunicacisela ingxaki kaMama uMhlahlo, but into endifuna ukuyithetha yile.
In brief, I want to come to this.
Kortliks wil ek egter hier aan aandag gee.
Kwelethu icala singurhulumente siyenze yonke into ebefanele ba siyenze.
We as the government, we have done everything on our part.
Ons as die regering het alles van ons kant af gedoen.
Ukucaciselana ngemali kofanele ba zibhatelwe kuye.
We have been able to explain the funds that she was supposed to be allocated.
Ons kon 'n verduideliking gee van die fondse wat veronderstel was om aan haar bewillig te word.
ne project ngoku aphi khona nemiqathango efuneka siyilandele singurhulumente because siyanyanzeleka kuba sisebenzisa imali yabarhafi yoba kube nemiqathango esilandelayo singurhulumente xa sisenza ezi zinto.
As government, there are certain policies and programs that we are supposed to follow because we are using taxpayers' money.
As die regering is daar sekere beleidsrigtinge en programme wat ons moet volg, juist omdat ons van die belastingbetalers se geld gebruik maak.
So ndicinga uba kulapho ke singavani khona ncam nomama uMhlahle kodwa ke ndicinga uba unelungelo loba le ngxaki yakhe ngaphinda ayigqithisele mhlawumbe kwabanye abantu abangasentla kodwa ke kwelethu icala senze konke okusemandleni ukuzama ukusombulula ingxaki ayivezayo apha.
We have done everything that we could as the government to help Ms. Mhlahlo, but if she feels that she's not satisfied, then she can go up to other upper structures of government.
Ons het alles in ons vermoë gedoen om vir mevrou Mhlahlo te help. As die regering maar indien sy voel dat dit nog nie genoeg is nie, dan is sy welkom om na ander strukture haarself te wend om daar hulp te kry.
Now, kumama wasePlet othetha ngendlu yakhe esemanzini ndizawuya ePlet ngolesine ndizocela i-details zakho ndifuna ukuyoyibona le ndlu ngokwami.
To the lady from Plattenberg Bay who was talking about the house being under a mud condition, in this coming Thursday, I'll go to that place and make sure that I see to it.
Aan die dame van Plettenberg Bay wat gepraat het en verwys het na haar huis wat in die modder staan, hierdie komende donderdag sal ek Plettenberg Bay toe gaan en ek sal self gaan sien wat daar aangaan.
Now kusifiso from George umbuzo wakhe kangocace kahle but ndifuna nje ukuchaphazela into enxulumeneyo nalento beyithetha.
From Fiso from George, I didn't really get the grasp what was the question, but I'll try and answer where I can.
Want sinds van George kon ek nie eintlik agterkom wat die vraag is nie, maar ek sal probeer om 'n antwoord te gee tot die beste van my vermoë.
Now kukhona ingxaki eyenzekayo. You know xa sizawuphuhlisa kuloo ndawo singurhulumente into yokuqala funeka siyenze funa siqinisekise into yoba siphuhlisela abantu abangaphi. That is why into yokuqala esiyenzayo kukubala abantu abalapho because isigqibo esithathwayo sibheyiswa kwinani labantu abalapho xa sizawuphuhlisa kuloo ndawo.
Before we develop a particular area as government, we must make sure that we count the number of people of that particular area.
Voordat ons 'n spesifieke gebied ontwikkel as die regering, moet ons seker wees dat ons seker maak hoeveel mense daar in daai gebied is.
Now kukhona kumkhwa kodla ngokwenzeka once abantu beve into ba lo ndawo izawuphuhliswa ngoku ufumanise into ba bamema abanye abantu bazokwandisa inani esesicwangcisele into ba siliphuhlisele.
There is a common trend that is happening especially whereby we're about to develop an area, whereby if we have a particular number, people will invite other people and those people will add to the number that has been concluded by the government.
Waar as daar 'n gebied is wat geïdentifiseer is om ontwikkel te word en daar klaar hoeveelheid mense daar, dan sal daar nuwe mense bygenooi word om toe te voeg tot die alreeds bestaande hoeveelheid mense wat daar is.
Iphele ke ngokulonto idodobalisa uphuhliso because xa phindela umasipala ufumanisa into yoba le ndawo beyijonge into yoba uzaphuthela kuyo abantu sekukhona abanye abantu because kwabantu bandise inani labantu lale ndawo izawuphuhliswa.
And you find out that at the end of the day there is no development because the people now have come in another number and that is obstructing now the development that was earmarked by the government.
En aan die einde van die dag sal jy dan vind dat daar geen ontwikkeling is nie, want daar is nuwe mense wat bygekom het in die gebied en dit is 'n struikelblok vir werklike ontwikkeling in daardie gebied, soos wat dit beoog is deur die regering.
Nou kungeso sizathu ke ufumanisa into yoba once isigqibo sithathwe into yoba nansi imali esizawuyichitha ukuphuhlisa apha nali inani labantu nanku umhlaba esiwubonileyo kungeso sizathu esibangela umasipala angavumeli umuntu into yoba aphinde okhe apho xa sesithathiwe eso sigqibo.
It is therefore that you find out that the government has already allocated a certain amount of money for that particular project, and such trends or such things that are done by people are the ones that are stopping the projects to go forward.
Daarom sal jy vind dat 'n spesifieke projek al reeds geld aan bewillig is deur die regering en dit is hierdie soort van dinge wat gebeur wat sorg dat 'n projek nie suksesvol is nie.
Mandigqithele kwi-state esilandelayo uba uDalasile from Municipality.
Let me refer to Mr. Dalasile from Mossel Bay.
You know mandiyithethe namphandle into yoba intlungu ukubona into yoba kusekhona iinkonde neenkondekazi ezilingana noba uDalasile ezingakafumani izindlu kuzothi igana ngoku.
Let me put it plainly that it is very, very painful to see people old as Mr. Dalasile finding that they don't own any houses at their age.
Laat ek dit baie eenvoudig stel. Dit is baie pynlik om te sien dat ou mense soos meneer Dalasile nie huise het wat hulle besit nie.
Yile nto ke kube nesankxwe xa umphathiswa kazwelonke ndimngqinela nam xa esithi masiqinisekise into yoba izindlu esizakhayo siqala ngabantu abadala khona ukuze singabi nayo le ngxaki. So ndizocela ukumbona uba uDalisile ngaphambi koba sihlukane kule session.
That is why the minister, the national minister, Minister Sisulu, said that when we are about to build houses, we must make sure that we cater for the elderly people.
Dit is ook die nasionale minister, minister Sisulu gesê dat wanneer ons huise bou, dat ons moet seker maak dat ons ook toesien na die bejaarde mense.
Ndifuna uyitolike nale ndawo into yoba ndizawucela ukumbona khona ukuze sithathe igama lakhe sijonge kwi-waiting list into yoba azange wakwafumana indlu nakutheni engakafumani indlu nangoku, because ngabona abantu sifuna baqwalaselwe kuphuhliso lwethu.
I will therefore request to see Mr. Dalasile, take down his details, to check whether maybe he is not on the list of the beneficiaries and so on.
Ek sal dus 'n versoek lewer dat ek meneer Dalasile sien dat ek sy besonderhede kan afneem om te sien of hy nie op die lys van begunstigdes is nie.
Okokugqibela kutata uMangonyama wasebhongolwethu bese ndichaphazele into yoba i-project yasebhongolwethu ikhona iphase esesi-approvile ezawuqalisa kungekudalanga.
I will refer to Mr. Nongonyane from Bongolwetu. I want to inform him that the project has been approved and there is a particular stage that will be followed on that project.
Ek wil verwys na meneer Nongonyane van Bongolwetu en ek wil vir hom sê dat die projek is goedgekeur en daar is nou 'n spesifieke fase wat die projek in verkeer.
Kwakhona sawuthethana nomasipala ukuqinisekisa into yoba siqala ngabantu abadala njengotata obethetha ngokwasebhongolwethu enkosi.
And I want to reiterate that we are going to communicate with the municipality and make sure that we prioritize the elderly people when we do these projects.
En ek wil dit weer bevestig dat ons met die munisipaliteit gaan kommunikeer om te verseker dat ons prioriteit verleen aan bejaarde mense.
I'm not sure from the side of Deputy Minister Nel. He is going to be the last, then we'll make announcements.
Thank you very much. Ek wil net, I just want to address the issue raised by Mr. Mzimela from George,
Ek wil net die kwessie aanspreek wat meneer Mzimela van George aangesny het.
where he talks about political interference, that the municipality should not be biased, that the municipality should serve everyone.
Waar hy praat van politieke inmengery, waar hy sê dat die munisipaliteit nie bevooroordelend moet wees nie en dat die munisipaliteit almal moet bedien.
Xa ke bethetha ngento yoba umasipala ukhetha abathile.
Ek wil net aan meneer Mzimela sê ons stem absoluut met u saam.
I just want to say to Mr. Mzimela, we absolutely agree with you.
Sifuna ukuthi ke kuba uMzimela siyavumelana nesi sikhalazo sakho.
'n Munisipaliteit is daar om die mense te dien. Mense is nie daar om munisipaliteit te dien nie. Die munisipaliteit moet al sy inwoners gelyk behandel.
The municipality is there to serve the people. The people are not there to serve the municipality. A municipality should treat all its people equally.
Umasipala ke ukhona kuba asebenzele abantu. Abantu abakumasipala mabangazisebenzeli ngokwabo.
Wanneer dit kom by wanneer dit kom by die allocasie van huise of die allocasie van werksgeleenthede of die allocasie van tenders, moet die munisipaliteit regverdig en openlik werk.
When it comes to the allocation of job opportunities, of houses, and of tenders, the municipality must work in an open and transparent and fair manner.
Xa ke kusenziwa ke kukhutshwa ithenda namanye ke amaqithiqithi oshishino, umasipala funeka aqinisekise uba le nkqubo iyabonakala ivulelekile kuwo wonke umntu.
Daar is sommige mense wat vir ons gesê het dat in sekere munisipaliteite word die Community Works Program, die CWP en die EPWT werke uitgehandig aan familielede of volgens partypolitieke kriteria. Ons sê nee.
There are some people who told us that in certain communities, the Community Works Project or the Extended Public Works projects are being handed out according to political affiliation or according to your family affiliation. And we say no to this.
Siva ke ingxelo zokuba xa kukhutshwa le misebenzi expanded works program nezinye inkqubo, ezi nkqubo ke ziye zikhutshwe kuba abantu kuxhaswa abantu abakwicala elithile lezopolitiko. Thina singurhulumente sithi mayiphele loo nto.
Ek wil net sê baie dankie. Hierdie was 'n wonderlike geleentheid om mense te hoor. Daar's iemand in Amerika wat een keer gesê het dat God het vir die mens 2 ore en 1 mond gegee sodat ons 2 keer soveel kan luister as wat ons praat. So dit was baie goed om vandag te luister.
I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. It was good to come here and listen to the people. Someone in America once said that God gave human beings 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we talk. Thank you very much. It was good to listen to you.
Sifuna ukuthi ke sibamba ngazibini ngokuba nizile nazokusimamela nathi njengabantu baseburhulumenteni. UThixo ke kukho isigama esithi uThixo wasinikeza indlebe sokuba simamele. Siyabulela ke ngobushushu enisinike bona. Inkosi.
We've taken very careful note of all of the things that have been raised, and we will follow up. We know that there are issues that haven't been raised. We know that people are concerned about poverty. We know that people are concerned about joblessness. We know that people are concerned about opportunities for our youth. We know that people are concerned about drugs and about TIC in particular. So there are other ministers and other departments that will be here also to listen about those problems.
Ons het baie sorgvuldige notas geneem en ons sal aandag skenk daaraan en ons weet ook dat daar ander aangeleenthede is, soos byvoorbeeld werkloosheid, soos byvoorbeeld armoede, soos byvoorbeeld werkloosheid onder die jeug en dwelmmisbruik, veral TIC. En daar sal ander ministers wees wat gedurende die week sal terugkom om ook om antwoord te gee daarop.
Siyayiqonda into yoba zikhona iingxaki ezifana nentswelangqesho, ungabikho kwezindlu, njalo. Ziza kuphendulwa ke ezo zinto. Bakhona abanye abaphathiswa abazokufika mhlawumbi ngokudala kwenye iseshoni bakwazi ukuphendula ke kwezo ngxaki. Enkosi.
Ons weet ook dat daar tradisionele leiers is wat kwessies het wat hulle met ons wil opper, veral in die Khoi en die San gemeenskappe. Ek is seker dat my kollega adjunct minister Bapela ook 'n geleentheid sal kry om verder te skakel met u.
We also know that there are traditional leaders, specifically in the Khoi and the San communities, who have issues that they would like to discuss with us. And I'm quite sure that the Deputy Minister Bapela will also be prepared to contact you and to discuss with you.
Baie dankie.
Siyayiqonda into yoba ke sinazo iinkosi zomthonyama zamaKhoi namaSan. Umphathiswa ke ukaBapela uzokuba khona naye akwazi ke ukuthetha-thethana nabo. Enkosi kakhulu.
Thank you very much. Can we give our panelists a round of applause, please? Thank you very much. Allow us, on behalf of NCOP, myself and my co-program director, to convey our gratitude, especially to your discipline and your cooperation. Like we've indicated earlier on, that this is not the end. After 2, there's going to be another session dealing specifically with human settlement, water, and sanitation. In case you still have questions to ask, you will still be afforded an opportunity. Once again, announcements. We are expecting honorable members, MPLs and councillors to go and have lunch in the marquee that they had breakfast earlier this morning. For members of the public, as and when you go out there at the back, on my right-hand side, there's also a marquee which will be a saving point for food for our communities. May I make a humble request? We are still pursuing moral regeneration. People living with disability and our elderly, can we ensure that we start giving them an opportunity? We want to thank you for your patience and your cooperation. Halala Eden, halala. Thank you very much.
Dank vir julle geduld.